Started rapping no days off since I started lapping these trap cats. You're fast that you won't last, Jack, you won't last. In these flows where I reside, rocking waves like it's seaside.
If you want me to get into it, I'll go. Do we go live or do we just roll?
Yeah. So let's go. This is official.
Let's go.
Yes.
Dude, thank you for having me.
Fuck yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming out to the Like, I don't know, for anybody watching right now, it's like, we're out here, son. This is Tinicum Park. Just beautiful Tinicum Park
This
out here.
is a beautiful park. I was
here.
very happy to see
I got to
it.
represent Pennsylvania in this one. I'm not from PA, but I got to represent it because it's beautiful. But I'm right on the border, so I kind of just, when I tell people, normally I'll tell them, hey, it's the border of PA, and that's how they'll normally know where I'm at, where I'm from. But
how far are you from here?
Like 15
Oh,
minutes.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, not even 10, 15.
Dude, I love how many places like this you can find in America. Like, if you were to look up most popular places in PA, I doubt this would pop up, but the locals know it, and it's fucking fantastic. There's so many locally known places that are just beautiful.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, they're the best places, or like the hole-in-the-wall dive bar, or like whatever it is. Only the locals know those places. Like, I was actually going to take you somewhere, but I didn't know you, so I'm like, I'm not going to show it to them. Maybe after I'll show you now since I know you. But like, there's places that I don't like take anybody that's not from here, you know, because like this is our thing. Like, if you want to find it, you could find it. It's publicly available knowledge, but I'm not going to show it to
Could I ask,
anybody.
is it something you want to publicly air, or is it like...
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm not going to tell you where it is, but it's just like, people who are listening who are from where I'm from know what I'm talking about. Like, it's just, it's like a really beautiful view, and you have to go like on a little hike to get there.
Cool.
And there's a few places like that, and there's some more popular ones, but this one is like in my town, like not in the next town over, it's in my town. This is our spot. This is our smoking spot.
The spot. Oh, fuck it. If you want to smoke at any point, I have a little bowl. I'll leave that up to you.
Oh, I mean, dude, I'm down. If you're going to do it, I'll do it too.
All right.
Maybe if we're feeling it or we catch a lull or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm always down to smoke, dude.
Yeah, I should have guessed from the Sublime shirt.
It's, you don't, you get a right wing right here. You're like, is he a narc? Is this the worst undercover cop you've ever seen? I look like the guy trying to tell you that I'm not a cop when I'm actually a cop, you know? Like, that's the vibe. And then once you get down here, you're like, oh, Sublime, like, got it fucking tatted, dude. Like,
oh, fuck, if you're willing to have it tatted.
Dedicated, dude. I'm dedicated. No, I'm a real, like, ska, you know, I mean, I love all music. I mean, we could go into a whole conversation about that. But yeah, I mean, dude, we can take it wherever you want to take it. You were asking me what I do, which is an interesting, fun question to tackle.
Now I'm curious about the fucking Sublime thing.
Well, I could give you the rundown on that. Like, dude, it's just a simple story. I mean, just in high school, my friend put me on it. I just fell in love. I fell in love with Sublime. I fell in love with the style. I fell in love with California ska, like 90s California music. I had a love for 90s cult classics, dude. Like, The Big Lebowski's my favorite movie. Fight Club, dude. I mean, just like...
Oh, Fight Club.
The 90s is... I'm definitely an old head. I'm definitely an old soul, but I got some kind of connection to the 90s because that's all my favorite shit. So, you know, I thought the Sun was so cool, dude. I thought the Sublime Sun was like the coolest design ever when I was in high school. But I'm like, you know what? Let me wait on it. You know, let me... make sure I want this tattoo because tattoo's a big decision. That's what people say.
I agree.
And I think it is. I mean, it's a permanent thing. Our generation definitely, I mean, I'm 23. Like, we love tattoos, dude.
Yeah,
we just get tattoos just like relentless, just whatever, tattoos.
Dude, fuck a discount tattoo. I will say that to the day I die.
Why do you think I waited so long? Because I'm like, I also now, because like, I get into shit, so then I'm like, I'm going to have to find an artist. I'm going to have to like their style, and then I'm going to have to do this. So I wanted it for 6 years, right? My girlfriend has a ton of tattoos, and I don't know, she's got like 7 or 8 or something like that, kind of all over. She's got one on her collarbone, and they're all over the place. And so she had a guy who she really liked, and he was an older dude. I mean, like in his 40s, he's been doing it for 25 years. We did a walk-in. We didn't decide. I don't think I even made the decision that day. Maybe just once I got there. And then, yeah, man, just like liked his work on that he did for my girlfriend. And so he goes through, we do 2 45-minute sessions, takes a smoke cig break in between. You know, I'm dying, bro. Like, I work out every day. I'm like, pain, like, you know, work out.
No pain, no gain.
No
and
pain,
then the
no
buzzer
gain.
hits you and you're like, oh, does the pain lessen over the hours? Nope.
No, which I didn't. Yo, because like, my friend has a huge tat for his dad on his side, like on his ribs, dude. And I'm like, that's gotta hurt, And he's like, yeah, it hurt, whatever. But you don't realize, like, you can look at the tattoo and be like, oh, that probably hurt. But you just don't know until I've been 2nd-degree burns down my leg, my whole hand, and that wasn't even, I feel like, as bad.
It's weird because it's quicker. I would say, right? Like it's intense, it's quicker, but this is that slow drag of what could it be compared to? Like, do you ever skid your knee on something?
Yeah, but that's fast too, typically.
I'm imagining like a small version of skidding your skin, and then just like on a small scale, just being dragged across.
Acupuncture doesn't feel like bad like that, but something like that where it's like it's gonna continue. Yeah, I don't think honestly nothing that you're gonna do unless honestly the only other thing would be probably like actual physical pain when you're physically in pain. Like if you have a knee issue, but you have to hike another 25 miles. Like, that's probably the only time.
That long, dragging pain. Do you know Goggins?
I fucking love Goggins.
David, of course, yeah, right? Shout out to Goggins.
I don't know if you have all night, but we might be here all night.
I heard they close at 8.
Fuck them, dude. Let's see what happens.
If they don't give a fuck, then I'm fine.
No, we're vibing. We'll see what happens.
Let's hit it, yeah.
Love Goggins.
Agreed.
Cam Haynes, I don't know if you're familiar.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm doing his audiobook right now.
Yeah, I heard it's the #1 audiobook in the world.
Every day I've been listening to it. But anyway, Goggins.
No, fucking Cam Haynes, bro. Did you see the pot? You know Jocko?
Love Jocko.
Did you see the Cam Haynes Jocko? I highly recommend it.
Is it recent? Or
yes.
Oh, no, because I just did the Andrew Huberman Jocko, which was 5.5 hours.
Like 5 hours of
dude,
beautiful.
And I sat, I went, because that's when I was coming out of COVID. So, COVID, I did everything, dude. I did every special. I did freaking Last Dance. I did every documentary on Netflix. But, I was coming out of COVID, and that Huberman Jocko, I just binged the shit out of it. I did in like two sessions.
I'm curious, what are some of your takeaways from the Jocko Huberman?
A lot of the Huberman stuff I've heard already because I've consumed so much of his podcast and his interviews. So it was a lot, but with him, you got to do regurgitation. Like you have to do repetitive consumption with his work because it's so dense. It's not dense. It's super accessible, but it's dense, right? So like you have to understand certain concepts to understand other
I don't know
concepts.
how the fuck he holds on to that much information.
I've done a 10-minute scripted podcast and have spent literally half a day making it before. So I don't know how he does 2 hours like that. I don't, it's a level that I'm not really at, and we could do these conversational interviews for hours and it's not a problem. But like when you're getting down to real subject matter, it's a different, and it's because you're doing multiple jobs at once. You have the subject matter, you're an expert. It's almost, people don't realize how hard it is to teach or explain something once you know it because you forgot the cues that you used to learn it. So he's also backtracking in time and trying to think like, how can I get somebody to understand this, right? And he also teaches it, so that's another, he's already done it for a long time. But you can't take every professor and throw him in a 2-hour podcast and say,
hell no,
make it happen, and then get millions of views. But back to that episode, I mean, I love the dopamine, dude. I feel like we've been completely misled on what dopamine does. The fact that that dopamine's based on drive instead of reward makes a lot of sense to me because you got to think about it. The reward doesn't come until you take the action. So it must be a drive first.
Need something to pull you through all of that action.
Or even the reward. Say it's like smoking a cigarette or something. It's like you have to buy the pack. You have to get the lighter. You have to take it out. You have to light it. It's always, even as simple as that, like you still have an action that you have to take first. So it must be drive to an action because it's always action and reward. Like even if you have to pick up a trophy, you're still picking it up. Like, it might be a stupid explanation, but I feel like that was big for me. I mean, the habit stuff I'm really into, but I love to learn about, I don't know shit about the brain, like, I mean, maybe compared to the average person, I might know a little bit more. But, dude, like, there's so much, because I'm very obsessed with, like, trying to optimize and, like, just, be dialed in. And
ditto. What really gets me is the pain aspect. That dopamine, you have a certain amount of it that you can use daily, and I forget exactly how I would explain it, but to replenish it by doing activities that are uncomfortable, painful, something along those lines, because I've been hit when I have a lot of free time by this aching, deep pain in my gut, and it might be after I've spent a few hours of I don't know, I'm listening to music, I'm dancing, I'm exercising, like I'm in a really positive state, and then it kind of just crashes, and I'm just left there wondering like, where's the tool? I used all these things that I thought would make me happy, and now it seems like as I learn now, I've probably run out of dopamine quite a lot of times, and I needed to replenish it by doing some sort of uncomfortable activity, maybe by diving into an ice bath or going for a jog or some exercise, or maybe just sticking with a task. Because it's a strange thing when you do a task for a really long period of time, you'll hit your highs and your lows, and you'll bounce through these emotional waves. But I'm still in the process of embracing the discomfort and the pain, figuring how much of that to integrate into my life for optimal happiness.
Yeah, man, that's a balance for sure. And definitely reading the Cam Haynes has got me thinking about the pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I actually was thinking about this yesterday. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to work out today because I want to go on a hike, but it's like, shit.
Not going to work out, only going to hike.
Dude, it's like Cam Haynes would have fucking done hike, run, and worked out. I'm like, shit, because he's a 7 days a week guy. And honestly, man, like, I'm a 7 days a week guy, but I'm not a same thing every day. And, like, that's what he does, too. I know sometimes he always runs, but the other stuff is more like add and subtract. But I think about that. I'm like, am I not putting myself through enough pain? Or, I mean, even with my workouts, I was just going through the motion with my workouts, because I could just just maintain at this level and just like do 45 minutes and like be out of there. But now I've made it a thing to not look at what time it is. Like that's been because we know if we're really pushing ourselves or if we're not, right? So like I'll get to a point in a workout where we'll be like, well, it's coming on an hour. I guess I'll just wrap this up. Even though I busted my ass in the workout, but now I don't want to be restricted by time. So I have a 2-hour window always now when I work out. And I usually work out for like an hour and 20 tops. But just to have that 2-hour window to know that I have no excuse to like look at the time or check my phone, So that's how I've really like now transitioned a little bit. But honestly, dude, I'm considering hiring my friend who's a bodybuilder and like nutritionist and just being like, dude, just like I think I have to pay. I want to try paying somebody and see.
What's your optimal outcome physically?
Dude, I don't know. So I'm going to have to set that goal. It's like I've set so many goals. I hit some, not hit others. I've gone through everything with this fitness shit, though. I mean, I've gone through like, am I going to be a trainer? Am I going to be a power lifter? Am I going to be a bodybuilder? Like, I'm not a big guy, but I always looked up to those people, and like my dad did it and, he always worked out and kind of got it from him, but also just like motivation of I just wanted to like not be a complete pussy and like not look like a scrawny kid. That's why I started working out. So I had no goals. I just
wanted to get beefed up.
Yeah, dude, like just be a little bit more like just be a little bit bigger, And there was nothing other than that. And also just I don't have, like, I'm really trying to get back into that zone. Like, I remember when I was working out so freaking hard every day and I was so dedicated to it. And I didn't have a lot of other things to look forward to in my life. So it was so easy to do that. But then once these other things came in, like what Cam was saying too, which is really like you're always going to find an excuse not to do it, And even if you're literally a bodybuilder, you'll probably be able to find an excuse. Like I'm a podcaster. I help people make podcasts and stuff. But like I could find an excuse not to do that, not to even do the thing that I'm super dedicated to, So I'm like, how do I can maintain that dedication? So I've done the time thing. So I I have a 2-hour window and that's guaranteed. And then I've done the morning now. So I always worked out at night, but it's really easy. I'm like, where is it the easiest for me to make an excuse? What time of day? Not when I'm best optimal or when I have the most energy or when I'm not fasted or whatever.
When does it suck the most?
When do I make the most excuses? When I say I'll probably work out at 7 at night. I have the best workouts at night. I have okay workouts in the morning, but I'm like, I'd rather take a shitty workout or a workout where I just don't want to do it instead of having a better workout later that I might not do. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of like, working out. But I've incorporated the hiking now, biking too. So a little bit of everything because I get bored of shit, I'm just rambling.
No, fuck, I feel you. This thing that kept popping back into my head as you were talking is the Cam Haynes Goggins-esque character. Like I look at them, they're people I admire, but how much should I compare myself to them when I'm aspiring to be my best self? Does my best self even look like that constant grind? Or does it look like some other, like, have you ever heard of Wim Hof?
Oh, yeah. I've done a lot of the breathing.
Yes.
I did it today.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I love his lifestyle, and he describes when he was around our age, he spent several years where he was living in imagine a big apartment complex, but it's only inhabited by squatters. Only people who are living there essentially just paying for the water bill and electric, but they're not paying rent. And they get their own food. And he said he had essentially no time to worry about making money. He had a bunch of free time surrounded by artistic sorts of people who didn't give a fuck if you were singing loud as hell at 2 a.m. and you could be naked on the lawn doing yoga when the sun came up, and you had a lot of freedom in this realm, a lot of creativity. And when he described that as being the environment that allowed his mind to best flourish. That's the best way I can describe it at the moment. The best way for it to develop. He said he developed a free sort of thinking when he was there that he didn't have before. And he also said he became very disciplined when he was in this lifestyle. And it just makes me wonder, okay, if I give myself that sort of free time, if for some reason I have it, there's the Goggins and the Cam Hanes mindset where it's like every second of the day is grind. Not literally, but that's the core of the message that I feel. But then I hear this Wim Hof style and wonder how much of the day should be play. And that's something I felt like I've missed in my culture a little bit, that emphasize so much work, grind, work, make the money, always have something to do with your time, fill your days. And I'm wondering whether I should lean more towards play and essentially just allow myself to develop each day as a fresh start, whatever seems the best thing to do in the moment. Now I'm rambling.
No, the difference, and what I captured from that is the difference. You're on the right track. The difference between play and leisure, right? Because leisure is taking time off, right? Leisure is not doing. Play is doing, right? Play is not doing whatever you consider work, I guess, right? Because it's play, so by definition, it's not work. Let's just make things simple, right? Leisure is not doing it all, right? It's not working out, not working, not reading, not consuming, probably consuming, because most people do that in their leisure time. But I think that you can make that determination, and I think that makes this answer easier. I am with you, dude. I'm actually 100% with you because I'm an artist, too. Like, I make music. I need to go out in the world and experience things. Like, I am a creative person. And actually in COVID, it was a good case study for me because I literally sat and built my business. But I got out of it. And this is what I always say. We thought we were going to do so much during COVID. And then we're like, oh shit, I only made a song or 2 songs, right? So I only made a song or 2, but I started building my business then. But I realized that every day, like, I completely transformed. When I was a couple years ago, my creative process would start the day. Like, it would be prioritized. Like, I would set aside a random Tuesday morning to just smoke and just, like, literally for 3 hours just write or, like, mess around with beats and make music and stuff. And now I'm so, like, I have a routine, but then it's just straight to work, you know? So now, like, what I'm doing is I put the workout in there. So I'm like, cool, let me stir things up a little bit, make it a physical thing, still work, but physical work. But I did like 1 hour of the day, first hour of the day for creativity, like after morning routine, then first hour is just writing and creativity. Even if I didn't want to make a new song, I would just practice the lines of another song or just like mess around on guitar or whatever. And I really like that. So I might end up going back to that. But I really do think that the leisure versus play is like you can't convince yourself it's play if you're just sitting there watching TV. Like that's the thing that I feel the most guilty when I'm watching a Goggins video or when I'm or not like before a workout, cool, but when I'm watching the Huberman Jocko, I'm like, I'm literally sitting here for fucking 4 hours doing this shit. Like, sure, I can convince myself I'm learning, but like, is that play? Is that leisure? Is that education? Is it a little bit of everything, right? Because I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies. Like, with my girlfriend, I do. But I watch Bar Rescue on TV. That's the only show that I watch. 10:30 a.m., baby. It's on every day. And, but I watch and consume podcasts. So when I'm listening, I also make podcasts. I also do them. I also produce them. So I'm like, this is kind of work. It's kind of research. But so I've been struggling with the same thing, man. I'm really trying to fit. Well, what people say too is, they always say balance. That's like saying, what is it? What's the word when you don't? It's like balance, but with with like substances or food or what are the dude, a freaking disc golf's probably gonna fly through here.
That's what I keep looking.
Dude, that would be awesome. That would be sick actually if
You just turn catch.
if a disc just came through the we're on a disc golf course actually. But I think we're on the edge of it.
Yes.
Moderation. So balance and moderation. That's fucking that's kind of bullshit. I mean, like, I don't think they're achievable, man. Like, I think you're always like, do you think Cam Hanes have balance? No, but does he have moderation? No. He doesn't moderate his running. Running in moderation is what is it? A mile a day? Like, is it a mile a week?
That might have a lot to do with the person defining moderate and defining
See, that's
balance.
what I'm saying, though. But we throw these terms, balance, moderation, out there. Fucking leisure, play. What does it all mean? It's like we all have different definitions. People will, you might go for a jog and be like, yeah, that's my, like, playtime or whatever. And you might not even consider it fitness. Maybe you just love it,
Definition.
It always gets me caught up, and you could get lost in the sauce with that, But, like,
but that is something that's important to play around with, especially when you're talking with people and listening to people talk, understanding what they mean when they're using a word that you think you already understand it, but then they end up using a different definition. It could throw the whole thing out of whack. That's actually seems to be one of the biggest points of friction I've seen in people talking with one another is when they have different definitions for the same word, or they think they're talking about the same topic, but it's totally different. When it comes to controversial topics, I find that happening a lot.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. Anything politically charged too, or whatever, because we build our own construction or our own definitions of reality that we see, right? So like we see a reality, then we process it, then we go, that's what it is. Like we make a determination. So my determination of what I see is different than your determination. We saw the same thing. So that's fundamentally where it's caught up. You know?
The lens.
Yeah.
And then when that lens is colored by different stories and different beliefs you have, and a lack of willingness to reshape your beliefs, where you think you just know the fact and that's fucking it. But here's something weird I've noticed. Whenever I'm talking about a hot topic with people, it could be Ukraine, it could be abortion, it could be Trump, whatever, there is a strong tendency for people to become very disrespectful, start to interrupt you and get very angry. Just get very angry to a point where they don't want to think there's any way they're wrong. They just kind of want to, like, this is right, and if you don't accept it, fucking, you're just a terrible person. But, like, wait, you haven't heard my point yet. Like, no, you... Oh, my gosh, controversies. What's a controversy? Is there any controversy you care about? Like,
Shit. Aliens.
Aliens.
Yeah. Definitely care about that one.
The UFO.
I don't care about the good ones. Ukraine, all that shit. I don't know geopolitics, dude. Like, I'm not the guy to get fired up on, like, I made a video on abortion people got mad at, but, like, other than that, dude.
Oh, wait, can we talk about it?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh, fuck yeah. Because controversy, there's a great quote I heard that if you really want to learn about a culture, look at their controversies.
Yes.
Look at their disagreements.
Or their genders, but, I mean, whatever you want to do.
That's it. Okay, so let's get into it.
Joking.
Abortion.
Joking. I respect all genders. So abortion.
I had to hold back Joe. Anyway, separate topic. Continue,
it's just,
please.
Dude, plumbers are killing it, dude. They're building new bathrooms, like, on the daily, dude. They're just hiring these guys. Like, they're just making businesses out of nowhere, dude. Just making all these different
I got confused.
bathrooms.
Did you say abortion?
No.
What?
I was still on the bathroom, so we got to go to the abortion now.
Oh, wow.
So, no, I made a video that was like, hey, this is probably not what you think I'm going to say, but, let people do what they want. And you could go watch the video. It's on my Instagram, Sully Bop, SULLYBOP. And you got to scroll down a little bit. And I said, let them do what they want. Let them kill the babies. But I didn't say it like that. I said, like, let them kill the fucking babies, And people, and I was supporting abortion, which I do. And, people got mad. The anti-abortion people were mad because I was saying I was pro-abortion. Some pro-abortion people were mad because I wasn't saying it how respectfully. But respect is an opinion. So I think making a joke out of it is, like, it might be disrespectful to you. But, like, if you want to make a joke about, like, podcasting, and that's what I do every day, that's not disrespectful to me. It's not disrespectful to my podcast. I have my own shit. So that's how I look at these things. So I said that I was pro, but the pro got mad. The anti they get mad because it's just anything.
You know what? I'm curious. Why are you pro?
Why am I pro? You know what? I don't actually have a really good argument for this. I think that if you could get down, I think number one is it's a technology, right? So like we have a technology that allows you to do this, right? So we can agree on that, right? Like it's there, people can do it, it exists, it's pretty safe, right? For the person doing it, it's pretty safe, by the numbers that I've seen, right? So the technology, that's how I feel about the technology. It exists, right? Number two is we are now, or we have before, but especially in this instance, you're trying to edit another person's relationship, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a relationship between multiple human beings, right? That nobody else is involved in, right? So you're saying whatever you guys were gonna make, whatever decision you were gonna make, right? Whether it was the female and just her baby, or the female and maybe the father, or maybe the female and another male, or whoever it is, I'm gonna go into this and tell you that we have this technology, but I don't feel right, because it's an opinion. I don't feel that you should use this technology in your life, right? And I have all my reasons now, right? If I'm on the anti-abortion side, right? So I have all my reasons, mine, personal opinion, right? So that's that side of it, right? That's how I look at that side, where I go, listen, like you have your points, like you have your opinions, but for sure it is 100% based on you and not this individual person's situation, right? So now when I look at the pro, I'm like, we aren't obligated to make better decisions for other people, right? Because we can barely make them for ourselves. So then you would say, you're taking away the decision, let them make it. It might be a bad decision, right? Morally, ethically, if you're religious. But I'm saying let people make mistakes, or let them make the best decision they ever made of their life. Because either way, that has nothing to do with you. Like, you're trying to have nothing to do with this relationship unless it goes against your moral beliefs. Based on technology you don't agree with, that's totally fine. But I'm saying let people make decisions. Like, if there's a technology, let them use it, So that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, I don't really care, like, about I'm not on the religious side of things. I'm not pro because I'm religious, or not religious because I'm not really in general. So that's kind of how I look at it. Like, I see, this is the problem. This is the thing that people don't get. Anti-abortion people are very smart. A lot of them are very intelligent. And I'm saying like this is bad. I don't think any of them are bad people. They're against it. Maybe you could say that better. They're smart, dude. Like, you can't come to and I've seen this. You've probably seen these videos, right? Where they have a pro-abortion person. You have a against abortion person on the podium, and then a pro-abortion person comes up, and they're like, what if somebody gets raped? And now we're bringing in a very specific scenario, right? So that's what they'll say. They'll go on the emotional, and then they'll say, when is a child like a child? When is it life, right? Because these people fucking know the science, dude. It's like, you got to beat them at their own game. The pro-abortion people are coming at them with too much emotion. The anti-abortion people have logic and religion, bro. Religion's been fucking taking over shit forever, right? It's like, there's a lot of really good arguments on both sides, right? So that's why this is difficult, Like, I'm not here to convince anybody of my side. But I think a lot of people that are pushing it and pro, and dude, fucking, it's been the norm. Like, it's been it's just a weird time, dude. It's like aliens, the government doesn't know what the aliens are doing. Weed's about to be federally legal. You can't have an assault rifle, but you got concealed carry, and you can't kill your own child. It's like, what is going on? What is going on?
That's a hell of a way to describe the state.
But anyway, like, I'm just saying, like, dude, if you're gonna be pro or you're gonna be against, you better have fucking ammo for these people. Like, you better know your argument and their argument inside and out.
Dude, talking about knowing someone's fucking argument, one of the strangest part about these hot topics is how often someone doesn't have a very well-formed argument,
That's what I'm saying.
but they feel really strongly about it.
Dude, I just got fired up doing that. I almost got more fired up doing the against thing. I'm like, dude, I could be religious as shit. But
Dude, that's one of the most fun parts about making an argument is steel manning the opposite side.
Yeah, and that's, you notice I did that a little bit too, because I've thought about their side too. But dude, 100%. And it's like, this is just a personal opinion. Like, I just think people should be able to do this, but I don't have any I don't have an argument because I'm not arguing. Like, I don't have a side. Like, I want you to be able to do it, but if everybody else says no, then I'm like, I guess I'm the only one, you know? But yeah,
it's so
dude.
weird. For me, this comes down to this like gray, fuzzy area of when is it alive, right? And
no.
when
See,
it's-
I don't do that.
Mhm.
You're killing a thing. Like, case closed. Who cares when it's alive or dead? It's done. It's not going to be alive anymore if it is. And if it wasn't alive, it's already dead.
Oh, look, it's weird. So why do you think I'll scratch you a little deeper because fuck it.
Right, bro. I'm
right.
right here. Let's go, baby.
Fucking
We're
go.
10 a couple.
Let's hit the itch. Why do you think it's okay to kill? First we have to draw these lines. You're saying it is a human at some point while it's inside the mother.
It could be.
Okay, and you're saying it's still okay to kill it while it's a human inside the mother. Okay.
If that's what you want to do, yeah, sure.
Okay, so why do you think it's okay to kill a human in that context?
Because I'm not here to make that decision for you. Like, if you think that's okay, great. Like, I think you should just be able to make the decision.
What about the decision?
Like, I don't need to approve of the whole decision because that's what that person would do.
I'm gonna be.
I'm making this
maybe a
hard,
little
dude.
annoying
I'm not.
for oh no,
yeah,
that's
no,
perfect. Okay, what if someone's? So you're saying it's up to the person when they can say it's okay to kill and not to kill.
In this scenario, yeah.
In this scenario, maybe because it's specifically in the woman's body, so that makes it different from like a robber saying, "I want to just go kill you for your
I'm
watch."
saying
and
she
it's-
knows what's best for her or not. And if she doesn't, she'll make a decision. And if she does, she'll make a decision. But either way, I think she should be able to make it. That's all I'm saying. Like, I think if you make the worst decision in your life, you should be able to. Because you can. You could jump off a fucking bridge, dude. Like, you
is
can make the worst
suicide
decision of your life, like, at any decision. So just to shut this one down, what are you, the fucking decision police now? You know, like...
Well, I guess yeah.
Yeah, you are. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to be like, that doesn't subscribe.
But isn't
I
every
don't
law like a
subscribe to that.
decision police?
Yeah, but
Like
now you
just
got to get
making
into
murder
all the
illegal?
laws, and then you got to get into probably have to go through Roe v. Wade too, and like all that stuff, and wade down in there. And like, I mean, I guess I could do it, but yeah, dude. I mean, the whole thing, yeah, because it's like laws, then law enforcement, but it's also protection. So yeah, I mean, this goes super deep, man. Like, it just goes really deep.
For me, it's just this weird line of when is it okay and not okay to kill a person. Like self-defense, it's okay to kill someone in a lot of ways.
Depending on where you are.
Yeah, if you want, I hear Jersey. It's actually we're one of the most strict people when it comes to self-defense. Like if someone breaks in your house, I haven't looked into this. This might be bullshit. But if someone breaks in your house and they only have a knife or their fists or a tire iron, and you have a gun, you can't shoot them because you have like way too much overpowering force. That seems ridiculous,
dude.
Someone
it doesn't
breaks in your
make
house.
sense to me. Yeah,
No.
I think yeah. I mean, that part doesn't really make sense. You should be able to like defend your own home, you know. But that's why you have security systems and.
What are we gonna be allowing people with nuclear missiles next? Because
Yeah, right. Slippery slope, man.
Yeah. Okay, next controversial topic.
Assault rifles. Let's get.
Oh, let's go. That might be another one.
No, it's all good.
Okay, fucking Trump. What do you think?
Trump?
Yes. What do you think
dude,
about Trump?
fucking Trump. Trump is Trump, man. I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, he's a comedian. He's
Yeah.
got good. He's got great bits.
Agreed.
He's got great meaning, funny. He's humorous. Dude, I don't really know. Like, I'm not really a politics guy.
Okay, I'll
I
separate
thought it was a
it
good.
from your.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say it was a good experiment for the United States.
It was interesting.
Yeah, good meaning, not positive. Like, it was just good. Like, it just happened, and
Okay, I'll be more curious. How have you seen it impact your community? Maybe like, have you seen any trends change? People get maybe more fired up during show. Like, how has Trump affected your community? I'll say that.
me personally,
Yeah.
I'll say I dislike Biden being there more than I liked Trump. So might be a lot of people, or a cohort of people. My community, I mean, it depends. If you look at the community where I live, that's one thing. If you look at I guess like music and podcasting community, I don't know, man. I don't know how it's affected the community. I don't know. I think it's a difficult thing to say because I'm not really tapped in on that level. It's like I do a lot of podcasts, but I don't ask people about this stuff. So, not because I don't want to. I just let it come up, you know. But like that's just my style. But I'm actually I'd be curious to know if it has affected it. Like most of the Trump signs went down. Not all of them went down. Like my neighbor still has his Trump flag out. He's a great guy, you know.
That's such a weird. A lot of people think that if you vote for Trump, you're just a bad person. Like, so many people can't wrap their head around.
Well, that's a minority of people. It's like that's probably a small portion of people.
You think the small portion of people who think if you vote for Trump, you're a bad person?
Yeah, because how do you not know? I mean, I guess, see, this is where I'm probably ignorant, where it's like, how do you not know somebody that voted for Trump and they're like, how do you not know one person that voted for Trump who was like just a normal
and then
average
some
person?
people make that weird rationality of, well, they're just a good Trump version. Like, you'll hear this
Okay,
argument
so not
sometimes.
everybody is an asshole that voted for Trump then. It's like, well, the thing is, it's not voting for Trump. It's voting for who you liked the most or who you didn't dislike.
You know
You know what I'm saying?
What do you think are some of the strongest arguments pro-Trump that you've seen?
Like before, though, for like when he got elected and stuff like that?
Sure, just in general.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Because I wasn't involved. I didn't vote. I've never voted. I've only voted for state elections, which makes no fucking sense because it's like, what are you doing, bro? And one of those other things where I just go, well, do what you want, you know. But no, I don't. I think, dude. I mean, he's a businessman. I fucking love business. I love capitalism. Not the downsides. There's pros and cons, but like, he shook it up, dude. It made no sense because he literally came from the exact opposite situation of the people he claimed he was helping. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not. How the fuck is this guy who got a small loan of $1 million, who literally went bankrupt? And I know a guy who filed 3 of his fucking bankruptcies, and he literally went bankrupt multiple times, multiple companies, multiple industries. Like, could have went worse. When they're like, yeah, we give you $1 million, see what you do with it, huh? And all right, cool, man. Like, I bet I'd do okay because I just invested or something. But I don't know, man. I just I think it was a switch up, man. It was just a switch up of a traditional politician. He was the exact opposite. He flipped it. He made fun of everybody. He made it exciting. He made it fun. And he made it funny, hilarious shit for you to fucking talk about. And dude, it was like everything was Trump. Like, it was like
yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Everything was Trumpified, and that's all people were talking about. How crazy is this? How crazy is that? How crazy is this? And then boom, no Trump. Joe Byron. And then you're like, and then now it's like a fizzle. It's like, where's everybody at? And then obviously the Trump people go, this economy would never be what it is. This economy would never be what it is. In this place, these gas prices would never be what they are now if Trump was still there. And it's like, we don't know, dude. We don't know. But anyway, I didn't really answer your question of what the arguments are because I don't even know them. I didn't vote.
No, you're
for
good. That's the interesting part because that's a huge chunk of America that doesn't vote in large-scale elections. And
I don't want to do the lesser of evils thing. It's just not me. If I don't see a candidate I don't vibe with, I don't want to vote for them.
Fair enough.
And then I would have voted for fucking Jorgensen or some shit where it wouldn't have mattered, you know?
Oh, shit gets weird. It makes me wonder how big of is this even worth paying attention to? Is this just like a smoke and mirrors issue from some bigger topic, and it's just a distraction that's pulling people's attention in? Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll ask you the super ridiculous question. What are the most important things to you in your life, like practically on the day-to-day?
Like, and it could be anything you're saying. What do I value?
Yeah, like what do you really care about?
Yeah, man, I value relationships over everything. I have so many people in my life, and I wouldn't be here without those people. And it's a very cliche thing to say, but I've, like, maybe on paper it looks like I've done things on my own, but I know, and I've done a lot on my own for sure. Like, I got to give myself credit for that. But the relationships that I have, like, dude, the podcast changed my life, you know? Music changed my life. Like, I just got up on stage last weekend, like, performed in front of more people than I ever performed in front of because I'm on a song with my friend, right? So I built my business because I literally connected with 5,000 people, and out of those, a small amount of them said, I'll give you my money to do stuff, right? It's like, it's all been people. So, like, number one is definitely people. I've questioned where I put things, right? Because it's like, you know, family, relationships, girlfriend, then you have, you know, work and hustle. It's like, I really do I would be on a like, I'm not answering my phone right now. Like, there would be no call that I would answer during this podcast. Now, does that mean I prioritize that over everything, or I prioritize business over everything, or podcasting or music? Yeah, I guess. Like, so, I mean, I put my personal passions, pursuits, and obligations really above everything. And then relationships after that, you know, family, close friends, inner circle. And, yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, the core values of my business are trust, impact, and transparency. So I really like, I think trust is everything. I think if you earn somebody's trust, like, you can't buy that, right? Like, you kind of do it, you earn trust A lot of times through action, but sometimes just indirectly. You know, like for me personally, like I trust you. I don't know you, but I trust you. I would trust you with my life. I trust you. I'd be like, hey, dude, here's $5,000. Just hold on to it. I'm gonna come get it next week. Like I trust you right now because I don't need to really know. Like I just see the setup. I hear you talk. That's how I trust you. Some people need acts. They need you to do something. Then you trust them because you did that thing, right? So trust is really big. I naturally trust people. Some people I naturally don't trust. If I get a weird vibe, I don't trust them. That's
the vibe, man.
The vibe's everything. Transparency. So like, what's going on? What's going on behind the scenes? Like, what I do with my clients, like I'll try to give them too much information. I'll try to be like, hey, this is exactly what's happening. They're like, they don't need all the technical details, but that's what I value. Like, I want to know what's going on. So transparency and impact, right? Tin Coop said it on the episode. Good episode if you want to go to that one. You know, can I impact one person? You know, cool. Yeah. And same thing with him. I've impacted many people. Not a Cam Haynes, not at this crazy level, but like there's people that I've impacted and that just keeps me going. You know, but then I've sacrificed a lot on this and then relationships, you know, I hurt my relationships because I'm like, no, I got these people over here. Like they need it. They want it. They want my help or whatever, right?
You mean like with business? Like they want it, the business
side? Like podcasts or music or something like that. Or like I can impact somebody with the podcast. Or like I'm making this clip so I can make more podcasts, so I can make more clips, so I can bring more people in, so I can monetize, so I can build it, and then I can help more people, and right? And it's like, oh, sorry, I can't go to dinner tonight because of that. It's like, why? Because you're going to impact a million people in 10 years or something. So yeah, man, I mean, those are the things that I value really, like just, work, because the work that I do, I love. I've made it kind of a indirectly personal mission of mine to do work that I love to do and just do it and see what happens. And so work, I love work. I love my passions and hobbies, and I love my relationships and people, and then trust, impact, transparency. Those are like the core three.
Man, it fucking strikes me like as I'm trying to figure out what should I spend my time on, what is truly the most important thing, the thing I won't regret doing. I'm hit by these two archetypal themes that you'll see in stories a lot. There's one of, you ever hear the song Handlebars? I can ride my bike with no handlebars. Yeah, there's the one path of the
throw some reverb on that. We just
that could be the opening song of the
with no handlebar. I'm in the fucking cans right now, dude. I'm vibing out.
Oh fuck it,
anyway.
dude. Oh, as a side note, send me a song after this of someone who's a non-popular song, and I like to every opening song is just a personal artist that the individual I'm talking to knows.
Oh, dude, I have so many for you.
All right, cool.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard for me to choose. That's how many I have.
I feel you. Fuck yeah. Okay. But yeah, with the handlebars, there's the one guy as you watch the music video who's going down the road, just eating the apple, kind of talking with the local community, nuzzled up with the good book, living maybe you could call it the simple and clean life for simplicity's sake. That's what we call it. And then we have the other guy who's going down. He's building an empire essentially. And he's the stereotypical, the great man. There's like the good man and the great man. And it just makes me wonder, what should I be aiming more for? Because in this case, there was the great man who wasn't good, and he ended up committing an atrocity, and he's just looking like, oh my God, what have I done, right? And I don't want to be the guy who's 40 or 50, and maybe my business did fantastically, but I didn't spend enough time with my mom or my dad, you know? And I'm looking back on it there, and it hurts, or vice versa. And then it makes me wonder, like, how can you tell? Yeah.
I know. Well, we aren't archetypes. That's the problem, is that we embody ourselves. Like, that's all we have. So, like, you can't embody an archetype. Like, you can't try to be like another person because you'll never be them. So if you try to be like them, you fundamentally won't be in the right direction because you'll be trying to not lean into you, and you'll be trying to lean into them. So, yeah, I look at it, too. Or you look at, like, dude, it's like, but fucking Cam Haynes is not going to regret running instead of being with his family. Like, is he, though? Like, maybe, but you would have thought that he would have thought about that by now. And he mentions that in the book, too.
And think as well as feel, but no, it seems like you were going to...
No, well, I was just going to add on to that just to say that he mentioned it, and it was like not that it was just a sentence, but he said, I'm willing to sacrifice. he says, I've sacrificed XYZ. Like, I've sacrificed time with my kids, time with my family, time with my loved ones to do this thing, to keep hammering, to keep pushing, right? And what you're doing and what we all try to do is we try to make sense of the examples in our life, right? Because it's easy to use the examples as our examples, right? So you're trying to make sense of two archetypes that don't exist, handlebars, whatever. They've never existed, right? They're fictional characters. Cam Hanes, a real person. You can't make sense of it. Why the fuck is he training so much? It doesn't make sense, right? Like, right? The thing, moderation, balance, right? No, it doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't exist, right? Like, Cam Hanes living a life of balance, he's got it. Like, he figured out the balance. But it might be not spending X amount of time with his kids, but, like, that's his balance, right? So I think that we keep trying to analyze these examples, but you're just analyzing you are analyzing what somebody has already figured out, right? So you gotta, I think the number one thing for this is the trial and error. Like, I really think it is, like,
Yeah, that's
right?
a
Because
fucking
think
huge
about
one.
it. Back at the end of the day, that's all we've done to improve. All we've done to dial in the workout regimen is to either work out more or work out less or change what we're doing when we're working out, right? We don't go to the bodybuilder and say, let me copy him exactly and all. Like, we don't go to an
And if
example.
you do, you burn yourself out.
Yeah, we have, but we burned out. Or the
but
workouts.
then you test it and you learn from that, hopefully.
Exactly. You bring it back. Like, what I do is I take things from other people. I try to take the least amount of advice as possible because I try to know each time. It's like when I ask a question, I always want to ask a better question. I honestly don't want to ask more questions. I want more answers, but the question means you're on the right path, right? It's not somebody's, like, we're podcasting. It's like the questions that you ask are going to show me where you're at, not the answers that I give. Or the questions that I ask somebody on the podcast, it's the questions that facilitate it, right? So I think you got to kind of look at it from the perspective of really asking yourself those, rather than going right to the examples. The examples are easy. That's like a fundamental step. But I think at the end of the day, like, dude, I just stack stuff. I take the least amount of advice. I try to ask good questions, great questions, and I try to just apply what fits, like a puzzle piece, right? And if it doesn't fit, like, if I can't try this new workout because it just won't work for my day, all right, cool, it got blocked, filtered out. Now I can bring the next one in, you know? Like, you just try, like, you just got to try shit. Like, I don't know about the fucking archetypes, dude. Like, it's such a, you read a book, like, or I read a great book the other day called The Power of One More by Ed Milet. Game changer, man. I'm, like, listening to this audiobook. I'm like, what the heck is going on? But his entire philosophy is just one more, right? Like, that rings true with me. That makes a lot of sense. Like, I know that I'm not going to be Cam Hanes. I don't want to, but I can do one more set, right? I can read one more book. I can read one more chapter. I can do one more podcast. I can make one more song. It doesn't take that much energy because I'm already doing it, you know? So that's kind of like the way I look at that. I'm like, the examples, they're great. They're good. But if you don't try the shit, like, if you read a book and didn't try any of it, this book was a waste of time. Maybe not, because I've read books and then 3 years later I did the thing, right? So maybe
And
not.
then it was just kind of waiting in the background.
There's a lot of nuance with this stuff. Like, it's not a, like,
Black and white.
Take an example, try 35%, nix 15, go with the 10. Like,
Right? Oh, that's one of the weirdest things about trying to mix science and religion or science and morality. Trying to turn what should I value into something I can measure really precisely. It seems really fucking difficult. Yeah, it definitely seems like the best way we have right now is test it, combine, like, feeling and thought, and this dance between the two of them, which is just the vague ass terminology, the dance between feeling and thought, and find the power of you, your true self, and hone in on that. And there's a weird kind of you kind of get what I mean when I say that, but it's still very vague. Did you ever hear the TED Talk, The Art of Being Yourself?
Probably.
Caroline McHugh, the Scottish woman. Oh, that's not a Scottish accent.
I've
Scottish
probably watched it.
It's wonderful. It's like, as you say, game-changing. A game-changing way of looking at being yourself. She's describing these different sorts of self that we all are. One being the concrete, this is the self that doesn't change. This is the self that if you look at when you're 7, you look at when you're 70, this is the part of you that lasts throughout all of that. Then you have the part of yourself that's like a wishbone. This is the part of yourself that can change. It's the dream-like. When you aspire to be something different in the future, this is the moldable part of yourself. There's the part of yourself, the persona, the part where other people look at you. What do they see? What do they define you as just based on looking at you? And there was a 4th type of self, I forget, but there was something so useful just being able to map out more clearly what you are, and that there's nothing more important in this life than figuring out what you specifically are here for and doing that, right? Because there's a Goggins, there's a Cam Haines, but there's also a Snoop Dogg, a guy who smokes ridiculous amounts of weed all day, but he seems to also be on the path. Like he's living the life he doesn't regret. And if you got to figure out what is your niche. And these examples of Goggins and Cam Haines, like you say, there's a utility to them, but ultimately it comes down to doing what's best for your nature. And if you need some help with grind advice or keeping you on just putting reps in, those are good guys to look at. But it makes me wonder, like, what do other cultures admire? What are the people that stand atop as like the pinnacles in other parts of the world? Is there something we're missing in this super grind model of a person? I mean, probably. You just gotta look at the individual and figure it out. Anyway.
You went to Stoicism at all?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's a pretty good bridge, right? Because it's pretty much fundamental laws of humanity, right? On even as cliche as like don't do unto others as you wouldn't want done to you or whatever, right? Like those immutable laws, like there's a lot of things you can't argue too, you know? And so I've kind of used, since I've exited from religion, but I'm still trying to be spiritual, but I use meditation for mental well-being and physical well-being more than I do for spirituality.
Oh, what do you...
Yeah.
This will come later, and I'm sorry to interrupt. What does spirituality mean to you? But we can get back to that in a second.
I don't know. I don't know. It's too elusive for me to have it like a human definition of it, like a reality definition. Like to me, there's something in there. Something's happening in there. There's something, and it's existing.
Oh, this is really cool. I learned this the other day, that we have 2 sorts of memory. Basically speaking, we have, I think, episodic memory, which is this is memory you can go through and you can detail out what happened in the past, the thing you can put into words, like you're saying. Yeah. And then there's the type of memory that is, how do I focus my eyes? I don't know how the fuck I focus my eyes. I can just do it. How do I smile? I don't understand
like
how
muscle
muscular
memory.
jerks.
Yeah.
How do you feel
autonomic,
a vibe?
Basically.
Yeah.
They say, yeah.
And then there's this... When I talk to people about spirituality, that seems to be how most people understand it, in a way that is felt. It's not something that is put into words. It's understood on this deeper, unconscious sort of level through feeling, intuition.
Yeah, it's easy to lose that too. It's easy to like not lean into the feeling or to lean into it too much, or which happens with some people where they lean into it and then something bad happens. So they go, oh no, I can't lean into my intuition anymore. And then that's a disconnect from spirituality. But I think it's not that people are disconnecting from spirituality after they have it. It's that people don't have the connection to begin with. So I think that's you have to want to do it. Like it's a 100% personal thing, you know? It's just a lot of the things we're talking about. But like, because nobody else can unlock it for you, right? Like nobody else can get better at meditation for you than you know? Mm-hmm. So that's why that's a massive pro of spirituality, though, is the fact that it is so. You don't have to justify your spirituality to anybody, you know.
Fucking weird, man.
Yeah. Definitely fucking weird. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, and then somehow you look around all these different sorts of people, and they're all making it in one way or another. Mm-hmm. They ain't dead. They seem to be getting by in life, figuring it out. These wonderful, insane questions, but I don't know. Just feeling the breeze, tapping into the daily seems to be one of the best pieces of advice. Breathe, be present.
I walk twice a day, man. I love, because you see where I live, like I walk twice a day, and that is game changing for me. Like I'm really not one of these 16-hour a day or 18-hour a day grind guys. I'm not, because I do other things. Like, I'm always working, but I just switch it up, you know? Maybe I'm researching something for a podcast, and I might be editing a podcast, and I might be doing my actual work, like my business or whatever. But yeah, man, doing the, like, just trying to be in the present as much as possible. A lot of people talk about it, but, you know, I think it's really important. You have to do it through podcasting. Like, you do it, so you kind of get it. But, like, if you're doing something like this, like, 100%, it's so important because you have to get so present. And then you have to, like, let it flow in the present and just, like, flow with it. And then you don't even realize you're presently being present, even though you are.
You're just
until
so
you're out
zoned
of it.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you're meditating, it's like for people who don't meditate, but this is how it feels, like you're meditating or whatever, and then a thought comes in, you don't realize the thought's there. And then you realize that you're having the thought, and you go, oh, what? And this is just one type of meditation, but that's the type that I do a lot of the times. And it's just kind of crazy, though, because we're really, there's so much autopilot going on. You know, and that's what you're talking about today, which is like, how do I realize like what I'm spending my time in and what I'm not, and
what should I be?
And what should I be? And the thing is, there is no right answer. That's why human nature wants us to find the right answer. But there is none. You know, like there is none.
When you say there is none, I'll. Okay, my goal is to live a life I don't regret. So by and ideally, the best life, and I'm not exactly sure what that is, but the life that I can look back on, and while I'm living it, I feel deeply emotionally absorbed into it. It's rich of just wonderful feeling, and I don't know. Regret seems to be one of the biggest things that I don't regret afterwards.
So you have a thing about you don't want to regret, like that's a fear that you have.
Yes.
So you fear regret.
Yes. I fear.
What if you didn't fear it at all? Imagine that life.
Then. The thing I would
value it, but I'm saying if you didn't fear it.
I think the fear is I think if I didn't fear it, I wouldn't do what would be necessary to not regret my life. I feel like regrets are warnings. Regrets are your alarm systems
is this
going off.
Tied into legacy at all, or no? Or is that different?
Not really.
Okay, because I'm not a huge legacy guy.
I don't think much about legacy either. Yeah. Maybe I'll care more when I have kids. I imagine that would change a lot because then like, oh, I want the kids to live well. I want my grandkids and the grandkids and so on. But at the moment, no. Regret is just like, that seems to be the number one poison against...
what I'm kind of getting at, though, is that you wouldn't know what you don't know what you'll regret later, right? So that's coming back to my thing of there is no right answer. We don't even know if we are not even able to reap all the benefits of what we're doing, the benefits or the downsides of what we're doing, until any other point in life. Like from this moment right here on, I have no idea what this podcast will do for me. It might change my life. It might, who knows what it'll do, or this friendship or this relationship. Like this might blossom into something 13 years from now, right? That changes our life, right? So what I'm saying is like, I understand the regret fear. I have it too, dude. I have it too. But I also know, like, honestly, I kind of took this from Gary Vee a little bit, where it's like, dude, like, the decision you make is the decision you make. You can't regret the decision that you didn't make because you didn't make it. It's like you took the best decision. Like, you either worked out or you sat on the couch. Like, whatever was the best one you decided for you. You know, it's like you can't regret. Like, that's the problem with regret, is that it already happened. Like, we're dealing with shit. We're focusing on shit that already happened, you know?
Regret seems tied to redemption a lot, at least in my head. So that is regret, but now it's teaching me a key part about myself. It's teaching me a part of myself, like, this is what I absolutely don't want to do and don't want to be like. And you can become the kind of person so you don't repeat this anymore, or you're very unlikely to repeat it. And in that way, it's kind of redeeming it. So it's almost healing the regret. I see it a lot as a tool for change, regret, and that there's a like anything, like fear, like happiness, like anger. There's that healthy amount of it. But there's some fucked up things that I've done in the past that I've realized. You're good. That I feel like it was worth regretting in a weird way. I don't know if that's a contradiction in terms.
Like, you're saying that it was worth doing it even if you did regret it.
Fuck.
Because I can think of some things that I kind of regret, but I'm like, dude, I would not give up that time for, like, going on a binge with your friends when you're, like, 20 and you have fake IDs and, like, it's bad. But it's like, I don't regret it, but, like, was it the best thing for my life? No, but I don't regret it. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I look back at it and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that maybe, or certain things I shouldn't have done. But I don't know. It's like regret's also not black and white. That's the problem.
Damn.
Take a minute. Take a second. Chillax. But, yeah, dude. I was talking to my partner who I work with in my business, and I was trying to talk to him about, like just positivity and identity. It's like I need the people around me I don't really honestly believe the same things as I believe. Like, I need to believe in the vision, right? Because if you don't see yourself in the vision, then you're not, like, what the day-to-day is whatever. So I'm telling him, and he's describing this, and, like, he probably wouldn't want me to share too much of it publicly. But basically, it's rough for him, right? And it's just, we're grinding. You know, he's on a journey with me, so he's also taking the risks that I'm taking, kind of, right? Because we're on a journey together trying to build this thing. It's not like we have a full, like, salaries yet or anything, right? Like, we're struggling along. Even though we're doing great things, but it's like a grind. We're grinding, right? And he was like, well, I kind of sometimes wish I had a little bit of what you have, which is kind of maybe it's just positivity or just, I don't know, dude. I also, it's kind of a problem because a lot of things can just be attributed to luck. Just because you don't know how they were created or, like, how they happened, right? So then I'm like, I'm not even the positivity guy. Like, a lot of great things just happened for me, and I put myself out there. Like, I don't deny any of the work that I did. But if I had the mindset of, I'll just quit now, you know? Like, it is a mindset-oriented thing. So I'm explaining to him, I'm like, dude, if you say that you'll never be this, or I'll never have that job, or I'll never be at that level, or I'm talented, everybody's telling me I'm talented, but I know I can't do it, then you'll never do it. Like, that's the fucking first thing, you know? And I got into this little, like, motivation, positivity tangent here, but, like, dude, it's like, I've been thinking about that too. I'm like, do I have something that's, like, different, or am I just thinking different?
There's a really interesting study about milkshakes. And these milkshakes have objectively the same nutritional qualities in them. And so you have two groups of people. One of them, you tell this is a super delicious, extra deluxe, fatty, super sugary, unhealthy, but really tasty drink. And then the other group, tell them it's this nutritional health drink. It's this awesome new diet smoothie that we've created. And you give the people the drinks, and you measure. The specifics evade me, but the essence I'll get right. You'll measure some of their chemical levels, maybe some of their hormones and their vitamin levels afterwards. And the people who thought they were drinking a less healthy drink literally were less healthy. They were more like vitamin deficient. Maybe they had higher cholesterol. And the people who thought they had a healthier drink, they had healthier results afterwards. So physiologically, it's not just this weird, if I think positive, it's connected to your emotions. It's connected to your immune system. It's connected to what your physical ability literally is. Thinking, and not just thinking positive, the story, what you believe to be reality.
Can I get a little personal right now and I don't know you?
Yeah.
Okay. This seems to be a good example for this. Your body knows, I guess, that you don't have this part of your body, right?
It forgets sometimes.
It knows, right? Like, you identify as a full person, right? Like, what is that like for you? Like, because you, like, a full, like me, right? It's like, we know we have different bodies, right? But you could tell yourself, I can't do this because of this. I can't do that because of this. Tell your body, tell your brain, tell your whole self, be like, we're different. We'll never be able to do what everybody else can do. Like, there must have been a lot. That must be related in your life. There must be, and maybe this might go a little deep, and if you don't want to go there,
I love it.
Your podcast, man. But I just thought that topic, though, like, not a lot of people experience what you've experienced. So, and which I'm very naive of because I don't really know for sure. But that must be there's you could have mentally went to a completely different place probably, or maybe you were there and you came out of it. But I'm curious about that.
There was definitely a lot of darkness after that. One of the biggest things was losing the biggest dream I have, and I lost the greatest love of my life, and the leg was more of a side thing. I had the dream of being in the Navy SEALs, and for years that was like the most passionate thing I had in my life. And then poof, in a snap, that was gone. And then there's this journey to try and find happiness, try and find purpose. And I'll save that tangent for later. We'll see.
I'll have you on my show, though. We should we should go far. We should go in. All right, let's do it.
I'm very happy to
and
go far.
that's good. It'll be a good plug. We'll cross-reference.
That'll be perfect. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man.
Regarding the leg, I must say, okay, so what we said earlier about you're very individual, so focus a lot on that. And there's a lot of truth to that. There's a funny quote that if you gather all the words of wisdom out there, they all cancel each other out eventually.
Yeah.
But there is still something very useful to having someone to admire. Because I've heard admiration is it's an imitation reflex. When you look at someone and you admire them, immediately your body's telling you that there's something in them you want. You want to be like a part of them. So when I was listening to Goggins a lot after I fucked my leg up, and he had this what if mentality. Like people are saying it's impossible. But what if? Yeah. And just realizing what if with my leg? Like, what if I could get my leg as strong as my left leg? And I must say, there's still a part of me that doubts that. But what if I could get it as strong as like my right leg used to be? And then I started thinking, going down that rabbit hole as if it was true. And I started to think, wait a minute. If the strongest person in the world, if they just had the habits of a daily person, a normal person, how strong would their legs be? Considerably weaker than it is right now. So how much potential is there in my right leg right now that I'm just not tapping into? Like if I really try to maximize it, could it essentially become as strong as the average person? Stronger? Faster? What if? And then going down that road, just questioning the what if. It gives me more energy, motivation, feel better, this, that, and the other. I'm more willing to test things. And stacked on top of that is the very interesting idea of the clown, of the Monkey King, the Joker, that to learn something new, you have to be willing to be a fool in a sense, because you're going to be fucking up. No one's a master from the get-go, or else, there's no way to achieve mastery if you're already there. That's not how that... So you have to be willing to be the fool, the person who fucks up, makes a bunch of mistakes along the way while you're getting started. Yep. And having those ideas in my head, just those stories, those beliefs in my head, made me more willing to fuck up. Because there is a pain to it when you try to walk and you fall in public. And then there's this okay, I'll put it like this. It's not this simple, but I'll simplify it for practical purposes. You have two stories you can tell yourself when you fall down in public. You could say, this is the so fucking embarrassing. I'm so broken right now. I'm so embarrassed that everyone's looking at me. I don't fucking want to be here shaming myself in front of all these people. Let me just go back to my crutch. That'll make it a little easier. Let me take it a little slower, not do this again. And you can go down that sort of disorderly, traumatized route where it starts to become an impediment. But you're justifying. You're like, well, it's not worth it. This is just who I am. These are just the limits I have. See, I tried. I went in public. I did that great leap, and I failed. So clearly, it's just I'm fucked up. You have that story. And then you have this other story of I'm on the hero's journey. I'm like a gladiator training for fucking battle. And then you can have that montage scene in your head of all the action movies where the guy's getting his ass beaten in training, but he becomes this hardened motherfucker on the other side of it. And you can say, this right now, this is just a sign that I'm pushing. This is just a sign that I'm being a badass. It's just a sign that I'm making progress. So get the fuck up, get that grit, and fucking step forward with determination. And so the power of story is very important for the next step you take.
And that ties back to what we were saying before, which is one of the first topics, which is people being so tied in into what they believe, right? It's that's the power of identity. And that's really what we're describing. And I mean, the what if, that's great. I love it. And also, it depends what picture you paint. Like if my friend paints a picture of I can never get to that point, then dude, that's your painting. You look at it every day, you go, that's my painting. This is the best painting I can paint. But you know what it is, and you probably experienced this too. Is like people are scared of that what if though, because that what if it's like
You
oh
can become a judge. It's like
yeah. Or like even like think about like Instagram, right? Culture or whatever. Like I want to have a business. I want to have an e-commerce store or some shit. And then you have a business and you're like, holy fuck, I'm making less money than I ever made. I'm in the fucking hole. I got to pay these people. Like my clients are unhappy or whatever. It's like that might not be your scenario, but that could be.
Mm-hmm.
And people are not willing to. They honestly, Cam said this too. He said anybody that people would say, or they could say to any of us or anybody and say, oh, that's must be nice, right? Or that's easy, right? And he knows, and we know that, and I know that you wouldn't want to deal with the downsides that I have to deal with, right? Like, it's almost like you should choose things where the downsides fit your personality, not the upsides, right? And so it's a complete kind of reverse psychology thing you got to do in yourself, you know, because it's like the hardest times are going to probably come from the downsides. The upsides are implied, you know, the success is implied. Everybody wants that. Everybody envisions that. Maybe not, but like most people want that. But can you deal with the downsides? And that's what gets people to quit is the downsides of things, you know? So it's crazy. But Tim Ferriss has one where it's is it in 4 hour work? Maybe it's in 4 hour work week. It might be. Game changer of a book too. I use that a lot, but really is changed my life. He goes in like where a Starbucks and he just lays on the floor, and he like times it like 30 seconds. He said that he's done it. You know, there's pictures of him doing it and stuff like that. I know I've never done it, but yeah, man, like failing in public is, and it's tough. Coming back to social media culture, dude, it's like it's not people. It's not that it's not embraced. It's that it's not promoted or personified, you know, or promoted, really.
You mean failing?
Yeah, failing's not promoted. Like winning and clout is promoted, or things that, because my friend Julian Dory, fantastic podcast, Trendifier, he says it all the time. He's like, I'm holding the phone for people listening. People have a little trigger finger, right? So if you're holding your phone in your hand, your thumb is a trigger finger, right? So it's like anything, and that's the point that he made, and this is the point that I made, which is, anything that's being promoted at a high level is usually done very quickly by a person, right? Because it's like, comment, done, pass along. But together it looks so crazy. But it was literally took 4.5 seconds to do that one action, but it's the compiled actions that make it look so good. But yeah, anyway, that's the kind of the engineering of what goes into that kind of social media world. But I don't think that people don't put out the public failures because personally they don't want to take it. And then second of all, if they don't want other people to know that, I don't. Now, do I put it out? Yeah, but it's like, I'm not going to put out that my business is fucking failing. Like, I probably should. Like, it'd probably be beneficial. That's great content. I want to learn about somebody's business because I want to learn what they did wrong, right? I try to be as open about it as possible. But yeah, man, it's there's a lot to it. But really, the like identity component though must be so crucial.
And that like you said, the identity that's prioritized in social media is the good times, right?
Yeah.
But then again, to go back to Goggins, and I don't mean to suck his dick too much, but he has a lot of...
This is really a Goggins Haynes podcast. Hey, we lost them if they weren't in. If you guys
we just need to Photoshop their faces over ours for the podcast.
Let's do it, dude. I'm down. That'll look great.
But you get to be Goggins, I'll be Cam.
Oh, let's do that. Perfect. Dude, complexion-wise, we're good. Let's swap them out.
Yeah. But fucking... He said something that was really cool, and I really aspire to be the kind of person who can share with the world my biggest fuck-ups, my biggest regrets, my biggest mistakes. I'm not there yet. There are things that are so dark and fucked up that I'm not ready to share them yet, but I look forward to the day where I'm willing to stand in front of... I'll get dramatic for a second. To stand in front of God without the leaf covering my dick. You know in Adam and Eve's story, when they became self-conscious, they were all shy and they covered themselves with the leaves and like, I don't want God to see me in all my vulnerability, or I don't want the world to see me. Yeah. But to be able to stand there, open, raw, vulnerable, there's something that seems so beautiful to that. And people do really resonate with that nowadays.
I do. I know I do. Yeah, because, and getting back to the influences and the feeds and stuff, it's like, dude, I just want to see Haynes, Rogan, Tim Kennedy. Like, I just want to see freaking murders and killers, dude. Like, that's why I follow so many artists. Like, my whole feed is just like artists, people who do crazy shit, like whatever. Like, just like not really motivational, but just when I do see another person, I want to be motivated or learn something from them. And that's a lot of it, man. People they're surrounded by. YouTube just feeds me like boats and cars and motivation and Joe Rogan. This is the best 5 minutes of your life and all those things, because that's what I want. Like, it's a lot of superficial stuff, and it's just it's just kind of it's empty in a way because you have to do the work, But for real, like, I think that's step one is like people are surrounding themselves with shit, or they're not around people that are better than them. That's a big one, too. Same thing with the failures. It's like you're not going to admit your failures because you think that you're maybe less, or people aren't going to hold you at at that standard that you think you're at, And that's big for me, too, man. I really do try to be around people that are, at another level or in a different way.
Yeah, there's a quote goes roughly like, you will become the culmination of the 5 people you spend the most time around.
Yeah, the average, yeah. Dan Pena says that a lot, actually, too.
That might be the guy who originates it. And
he's an old guy, just yells at you.
Something like that.
Make sales.
Like old school Wolf of Wall Street. Super fired up style.
He's good. Jordan Belfort's really good. His name's Dean Graziosi. I don't know if you follow him, but great sales podcast. Great podcast. Yeah, real Jordan Belfort.
The real Jordan.
The guy that was all based on. He goes by Jordan Belfort.
Oh yeah,
that's yeah. It's slick back hair a little bit. Yeah.
Do you ever see if you want to see a great podcast, him and Joey Diaz have a podcast together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
On Joey Diaz's, yeah.
Oh, let's go. Joey's podcast is pretty good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, all right, cocksucker. Like, what are they fucking talking about now? More edibles, but nah, dude. I love Joey, dude. I love Joe. I can't get enough of him. Like, I love him on Joe's podcast. It's so perfect.
He's a cool cat.
Yep.
Oh, I got lost in the sauce.
That's the pod.
Yeah,
that's a podcast. Yeah, I think this is hard to do.
Oh, the podcast?
No. Because the podcast, it's like, yeah, you just want to fill people. We just fill time. You ever it's like, we're moving, dude. It's like, we don't have to fill. It's called the power of the pause. That's what I call it.
Oh, there's a guy who traveled around Europe for about 10 years, and he only got housing by people willingly giving him housing. He didn't pay for it. It's like, I met you on a train, and we struck up a wonderful conversation, and you just invited me to your house. That's how we lived for 10 years, bouncing around. And he said one of the most... And then after that, he became a really important journalist, interviewed some popular people, this, that, and the other. But one of the most important things he says, which sticks with me, which is hard to implement, is that don't be afraid of the silence.
You can't. There's a beauty in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. I produced an audiobook for a guy named William Spencer, and his book is about, it's called Far Sweeter Than Honey. If you want to check out the audiobook, or the regular book on Amazon. But it was about how he biked from anywhere from 6 to 12,000 miles or something. He biked from the UK like all the way to India. And the amount, like the stories of the people that took him in, and it's just, you can literally do that. Like, you can do what that guy did. Like, you can actually you could do anything. I mean, that's the thing. That's not anything, but like things that.
And that's a weird thing, to go back to the story part earlier, that there does seem to be limits to reality, and I sometimes hesitate to even admit that, because am I just
my realist
restricting
comes
myself
out, though, real fast, dude. Yeah.
But that's a weird thing to pair with this story of doing the quote-unquote impossible, or at least the things that are extremely, extremely difficult that seem impossible. But then sometimes I wonder, are things only impossible because I believe they're impossible? Yeah. But if I truly open my mind up like a child who doesn't believe anything's impossible yet, could I do literally anything? Fireball.
Well, you could try to do anything, though.
Yeah?
Like, that's possible. You could always try to do anything. Like, you could try to be Superman, a superhero, legitimate. You can try to fly.
Stand
you
here
could
and
try.
jumping.
Yeah, like you could try anything. That's a fact.
That gets just a great book. Fucking phenomenal. I recommend it to anyone, especially in audiobook form, called Musashi. And there's a point in Musashi where he's trying to build farm on really difficult terrain. And it's lush. Things are growing there, but it's constantly getting flooded. And all the farmers in the area say, why are you trying to fucking farm there? This guy's just crazy. He doesn't understand that this is an impossible terrain to farm in. But he saw it as this wonderful challenge. And over months and months of trying and failing, trying new ways, trying new ways, failing, he recognized that, oh shit, I've been unconsciously trying to make a farm in the model of other farms I've seen. I've tried to make it kind of the same shape. I've tried to force nature into this mold, this expectation I had in my head. And after he came to that revelation, he made the farm much more in tune with the landscape specifically. And from that day forth, he became a student of nature, he says. He really tried to humble himself and keep his eyes open to those immutable laws of nature. And so maybe I should remove that ridiculous idea of nothing's impossible, and maybe I would thrive more if I started to look more to the concrete impossibilities, look to nature, and really try to understand what is and what isn't, what can and what cannot be. And maybe I thrive more that way.
Well, that's context, though. Like, he had context on the area.
Yeah.
That's what changes. He made a decision based on a realization, based on information that was already there. Like, it wasn't, he got no new information. He just had a realization, right? And, like, you can't plan that. You know, you can't make, at 9:06 every morning, realizations happen, you know?
But to be open to the context. Like that.
Open to the context. Yeah.
The Bruce Lee quote that I talk about maybe too much on the podcast, be like water. Have you ever heard that quote before?
I have heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess it's as simple as that, right? Like, that's what he was really trying to relay, like, just be fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah, adaptability. That's pretty big.
Humble enough, maybe that's not the right word, but willing to remove expectations. That's a huge thing when it comes to thriving, to being able to rewrite the image you have in your head, to rewrite the story you could say you have in your head about how things should be, the way you want things to go specifically, which is so difficult to pair with having long-term visions, right? Because you have this long-term plan, step by step by step, that you need to hit these markers, but then to also be willing to wipe the majority of that clean if you've ever had one of the fun foundations knocked out from under you. That's been a really jarring thing I've noticed as I was traveling around for a little bit there. How many of the stories I had, for example, in my head of what another state is, what Florida is, what Floridians are like. But then I went there and talked to them, and you're like, you're not the crazy internet stories I hear, or the stories of people just being really stupid and uneducated, like, oh, you know the South, super racist, you get pulled over by a cop there, you're going to get shot in 2 seconds. But I was pulled over by police there, super respectful, at least in my interactions. I was talked to people. I was literally in a bar with what seemed like a biker gang, and one of the guys had a Confederate flag, like, on his back, and made me chuckle because on the other side of the jacket was like Cookie Monster on the same jacket. And if I say excuse me to this guy, he moved. He wasn't like, fuck you, spick, like chest bumping me out of the way. And it was really like dissonant with the story I had in my head.
You made an association based on things other people have said. Like,
Yeah.
you brought an assumption with you that was, and you and everybody else, because we've all done this. I went to Texas twice. I just actually planning on moving there.
Yeah.
And
Austin? Question mark?
Dallas DFW area. All of a sudden, a little too much hype for me right now.
I feel you.
I'm gonna settle, and then I'm gonna do my rounds, and maybe I'll
Stop by from time to time.
Yeah, figure out where I want to really settle, maybe. But yeah, man, I went there for the first time, and I was in uptown and downtown Dallas, right? And you go, oh, this is Texas. This is so cool. And then I went there again, and then I went in the surrounding areas, like, 20 minutes out, 30 minutes out, whatever, as far as 45 minutes out from the city. And I'm having different conversations with people, and everybody there's so nice. They're like for real, they're nice. They like to talk about themselves. They have no filter on, like, my credit score was, I mean, I had like a 6 to 14 and I got that up and they're just going. Like, they're just talking to you. Like, if they sense like a little bit of you're a good person, they just go in on you. And dude, it was amazing to me because I think I'm like a talkative person or whatever. And now these people are talking my ear off. And I'm like, do these people even work? Like, what are they? You know, it's like I feel like Sebastian Maniscalco. Like, what are you doing? Like, do you even fucking have a job? Like, you know, but I loved it. You know, but I didn't know I thought Texas was all rodeos, but I went to this. I went to the more city area, right? And it's not. You know, I talked to the lady in the boot store, the cowboy hat boot store.
I love Texas accents.
Yeah, man, it's so cool, man.
Yeah,
and I love it there. I don't even know if that's a Texas accent, but she was like, "Yeah, I haven't rode a horse in so long," you know. And she had cowgirl boots on, and I used to have a horse growing up, so I was just kind of quick conversation about that. I was just talking to her, but I'm like, okay, so this is one set of people. But if I went into, you know, I don't know, any other town in Texas, or if I went on some big ranch, like people might be different there. And yeah, we bring all of our assumptions with us until reality checks us.
I would hope they would check them, because some people might just hold so hard onto their caricatures that while they're like, I'm sure you've experienced this talking to someone while you're listening, but you're talking in your head while they're talking, and you're just like, oh, I know what you're thinking, I know what you're actually doing, or yeah,
Podcasting.
yeah. But to really be able to wipe that clean, and it almost makes me not want to. I wonder if it would be useful to just not hear stories or caricatures that people say of another type of person or culture, because maybe I'm just filling my head with too much BS. Like, there's this image I have in my head of a guy's on a journey, a travel, and with him is this academic guy, and he said he felt bad for the guy's camel because it was loaded down by all the books. And I took that almost as a metaphor for someone who reads too much or takes in too much information, where you have all these other ideas that other people thought of.
I got to jump in with that. Ryan Holiday, you know, you're familiar with him?
The name's super familiar. For some reason, a face isn't
The
coming.
Obstacle is the Way. That's his
Oh,
book.
yeah. Yes.
So he goes, the philosophers were badasses, dude. They weren't people sitting in a freaking library. He's like, they were like real, like, what is it? Who said that? Was it Marcus Aurelius or one of the, I think a Stoic philosopher says something about like, you haven't maximized until you've maximized your physical ability or something like that. Or somebody in the Roman Empire. Man, I'm bad. But that, like, I believe in that, dude. I don't want to take advice from people who aren't jacked. You know? It's like, I feel like they've figured it out, you know?
There is something to that.
But he said, like, they were also, you don't maximize till you maximize it all, you know?
Like,
Or-
I'm the well-read, super fit guy who can meditate and has a clean room and a good relationship with the wife and kids, but I also have these passion projects. Like, literally everything is to the nth degree.
Just, defined. Yeah, I think it once again, coming back to, this is where balance actually works, I think, which is like a balanced person, you know? And that might be it. Like, you have your physical wellness, you have your mental wellness, you have your family wellness, you have your dietary wellness. Yeah, where I think we're now starting to look at it as and Joe has said this a lot, it's like the mental diet and the physical diet, you know, and that's really important, because I look at that too, because I eat healthy because it's easier. Like, I don't eat healthy because I want to be jacked, like I do, but I just eat healthy because it's easier for me to eat healthy, you know.
What do you
generally
like easier?
I prep my meals. I don't prep Pop-Tarts, but like, sure, I could prep Pop-Tarts and it wouldn't be healthy. It's easier for me to prep, so. You know, I'll prep like 2 meals a day and make one, like on the spot, you know? And like, that's just easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's just easier for me, though.
And you feel so much fucking better.
I do, dude, because I literally eat, you know, whatever, chicken and rice or just normal shit. Like, I mix it up a little bit. The worst thing I eat is the sauces on the chicken. Like, that's the worst thing that I eat. But yeah, I eat plain chicken with sauce on it. But yeah, dude, I just feel great. When I'm super dialed into the routine because it all works together. Like the walking outside, the eating. Like I'll eat, or now I'm working out in the morning, then I'm eating. So dope, I can refuel. Then I can ride out till, you know, I worked from 11 to 3:45, and then I ate my second meal of the day. Right now, ride out till whatever 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. Usually it's around 7 or 8. Then I'll have my third meal of the day, and then I know I'm not training after that, so I don't have to worry. You know, I can go indulge a little bit more or whatever. It's like everything's planned the fuck out. You know.
Now you just have me thinking about food.
Oh God, I didn't mean to.
No,
I can take you to a spot.
I was gonna say, are there good places around here?
No, but I'll take you to a spot.
All right, fuck yeah. So I'm fucking hungry, but that'll be for later.
Do it for sure. No, I got you though. I got you.
Cool, thank you. Yeah. You ever hear of Atomic Habits?
James Clear.
I don't know if that
maybe he's the author. Yeah, yeah. I read the Charles Duhigg, The Power of Habit. That's a good one. That's was before Atomic Habit, so I just reference that one, but it's the same things.
Cool,
basically.
Just what you're talking about is everything syncing up together. That's such an important part of it. Seems like to optimize life, to understand it's a million little things that add up to the big things. That there's an Islamic I don't know if doctrine is the right way to say it. Advice, I'll say, word of wisdom from Islam
teaching
is that it's not the big things you do in life that matter, but the daily things. Meaning you can go to the gym for one day a month and go hard to the nth degree. I put every muscle to failure, and I pushed it to the limit. But are you going to do that consistently? Are you going to? Because you're not going to be jacked if you only do that once a month.
Like I said, I'd rather do more workouts when I don't feel like it, or I might not have the energy and be able to do more workouts.
High volume.
Yeah, just the consistency thing. Like I know that I can work out 3 days a week. Like I know I can, and I'll look great. And like I'm good because I've put in a lot of work before and stuff like that. I just know my body. But I also know that ain't shit. And that for me, that's fucking bullshit. Like I got to do at least like 4 or 5, 6 days a week.
Right?
You know?
Because then you learn about someone like a Goggins, or no, you're just learning about old school humans, hunter-gatherer shit, where you spend hours pretty much every day doing some sort of jog, some sort of workout. It really just makes me wonder, like, how fucking good would I feel if I just did a few hours of jogging every day with some other functional workouts, some climbing, maybe some bow and arrow hunting, things along those lines. Fuck, man. But then it hits this practical barrier of, okay, but then you won't have time to be studying for the podcast or hanging out with the other people. And then that's looping back to what we talked about earlier. What should hold the top priorities?
Yeah, I think it is about just dialing in that day, though. Came back to what I said before, which is just like trial and error and figure out the things that work in your day. Like, I don't meditate for an hour. I meditate for 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes tops. Like, I purposefully have meditate for that time because that's what worked for me. Like, that's it. Sure, I can rethink it and try something completely different, and that's great, but how much are you gonna... That's it's like I tried shit for years. Like, I got it. Like, I'm not going to replace things now if I don't have to because it's already pretty dialed in. But I set a success criteria like 70 or 80%. You know, failing is 3 workouts a week. Success is 6. Okay. If I hit 4, I'm okay. If I 5, even better. If I 6, oh my God, amazing. You know, like that's how I look at it because I don't like. It's so much of an obligation and pressure to. You can't. It is the habit. It's habit. You have to form habits. You cannot overnight. Maybe you can, but I think most people can't overnight just drastically change something about their life. I think for the people who don't go to the gym, this is what they say in the book, right? You show up at the gym and you do 1 set and then you go home. Week 1. Week 2, show up, do 2 sets. Go home. Then week 3, now you time it. Okay, I'm going to be here for 20 minutes. I'm going to always do something within the 20 minutes. Tallied up. Oh, I did 5 sets. All right, cool. Awesome. Like, and that's because you have to build the trigger you have to find the trigger for the habit. There's triggers for every habit. There's a lot that goes into it. I'm not an expert, but yeah. The power of habit though, man, I'm definitely subscribed to that methodology. But I function like that though. I can do habits probably to a fault because then coming back to what we said, then where's the, when do you switch it up?
The spontaneity.
Spontaneity is yeah. So I think you can build that in. I talked to Rob Deerdeck about this shit because I'm like, he's the man. I'm like, he's the guy who has the answers, But he has everything on a spreadsheet, and it's just not for me. Like Maybe it is. I've never really tried to dial in every single thing to a T on a spreadsheet, but it just doesn't. That's not that's anti-spontaneity almost. But that's what he's trying to build. Like that's what he values. That's what he's trying to do. You know, but you can look at a Deer Deck, a Cam, or Joe Rogan. He's fucking drinking whiskey on every other podcast. It's like my guy's drinking a lot if you look at it, but he's also a fucking beast.
Yeah.
You know, so
He can balance it out with those fucking crazy workouts.
Yeah.
And eating well. Yeah. Then you can allow more vices into your life. They're not even vices at that point.
But I just don't believe in the moderation thing, really. Like, I do. Like, if you can drink once a week, great. But is that moderation, or is it what about the person that drinks once a month? Is that, or there's levels to this, you know? Yeah, man, I like a healthy fucking amount of vice, dude. Like a healthy amount of
Healthy
vice.
amount.
I like a drunk cigarette. I like a one too many whiskeys and you're having a great conversation with your uncle. Like, there's just times that you got to just lean in a little bit.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Addiction, it makes me think that addiction is all about your relationship to the substance. It's not the substance itself. You could use heroin in a healthy way. I mean, not if you're getting it off the streets, but if you can get it from the source, which is not a popular opinion, but Dr. Carl Hart, if anyone's curious about a non-drug war propagandized view of drugs, Dr. Carl Hart's a great one to talk about. He's like, yeah, I can go to the source of where they're making opium and I can get it clean, and then I use it as a doctor so I know what a healthy amount is, and that makes my relationship with my wife better. It makes me better when I'm giving speeches, things along those lines, using it in a healthy way. Healthy way.
I microdose. I like that. You know, I like psychedelics. I like mushrooms, but I microdose. And, dude, I love it. I don't want to do it every day. I was talking about this on the podcast the other day. I'm like, it's just good. Like, I do it for me. I do it because I like, and I haven't done it in 3 months, and I didn't even realize it. You know? But yeah, it's you're right. It is. And I think tobacco and like nicotine's probably the main one where it's like, that's what gets people, right? Where who's going to smoke one cigarette a day? But like, you're probably fine. Like, I think if you smoke one a day, I think you'd probably be okay, because think about somebody who can smoke for 20 years, a pack a day, and then stop and have no health repercussions.
Like, it's weird. I wonder how much it has to do with like the individual's physiology, but then you also hear how popular cigarettes were for so fucking long, like ashtrays in every
both my grandfathers smoked, obviously. Probably all of our grandfathers smoked, right?
Yeah.
Probably some of our grandmothers too. I don't think either of my grandmothers did, but my grandfathers both smoked. One of them passed, and one of them he got cancer, unfortunately. But one of them is 89, and he smoked for probably like 20, 25 years, you know? And like, he has no like lung issues at all. But that's just one case study. It's like, what are you going to do? You could smoke a cigarette a day and then die of lung cancer. Or you could die of lung cancer and never have smoked one.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck? Like, but for real, that's another conversation where I'm like, yeah, and I try to keep a healthy balance, man. It's like, I don't want anything that I have to do. Like, anything that I have to do to function.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to where, if I want to do it, I do it, but I have time to do it. Or microdosing. I do that dude, I could do probably 6 podcasts in a row and have the same energy level if I'm microdosing.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh my God, like the energy's ridiculous. And
shrooms or acid?
Honestly, I have not done the extensive microdosing with shrooms, but I love shrooms. I won't take a tab of acid. You couldn't get me to do it. I'll do an eighth of mushrooms, like no problem.
Right, because a fucking mushroom you can look at and you're like, this is a mushroom. But acid, it's just a piece of paper.
I've microdosed acid probably 10, 15 times. Love it.
Wait, but you said I can't get you to do one now? Or you mean a full tab?
I'm saying I don't want to
Gotcha.
Actually, like, I'd be fine. Like, I could probably do it. I could probably handle it, like, just fine. Like, I don't think it wouldn't be because I can't handle it. It's this, because one time I didn't have the best experience on it. But mushrooms I do religiously twice a year at least. Do like 2 grams or more. Totally enough for me. You know? And I know people who have went on the deep end and came back or stayed in the deep end. Like, we know these people. That's with everything. It's like, but people villainize. And I talk about this because I work for myself and I don't have anything to lose. Like, I'm good. Like, if my client is like, no, you do acid, like, all right, dude, I'll get another client. It's all good. Like,
what do you do, by the way, for your work?
I own a podcast production company. Yeah, so we help people launch their podcasts, mostly online. We developed a system to launch podcasts, not to guarantee success, but to like cover all the bases and really develop, like, take your audience, your regular general audience, and funnel them into your podcast. And so, like, that's like a big part of what we do. But we're a production coaching company. So we kind of marry the two together. Sometimes more on one side, sometimes more on the other. But that's kind of the gist of it.
Cool. So, well, first off, what's the name of it?
Podcast Principles.
Podcast Principles. So you'll just give them tips of how to advertise, how to edit.
So it's like, our process is a 3-step process. And so it goes planning, launch, and development. So the planning stage is everything that somewhat what you touched on, which is 5 1-hour one-to-one calls, one-on-one or 2-on-1, depending on how many people are doing this podcast. And we bring them through a series of calls everywhere from strategy to technology to marketing and promotion. And we put it in a 5-call, like, staged process. So you don't have to, like, scour YouTube and, Google and try to figure out how to do it. We're just like, hey, we got it. Like, we're not guaranteeing you 1 million plays. We're just, by the end of this, you're going to have a completely fully formed podcast that people will be like, oh, wow, that's cool. So that's the planning stage. Then we have the launch stage, which is the most important part. I mean, the planning is the most important, but in terms of any podcast, which this is where I fucked up. So that's why I have such an emphasis on it, which is the launch of the thing itself. That kind of groundswell that you can get, and people love anything that's new, right? So if somebody knows you, but they know you from high school or something, they're not going to give a fuck about you, but they're going to try to see if you're like, hey, I'm doing this thing, and they want to know, is that thing good or not, right? So they might never consume any of your stuff again, but they will want to see this new thing, right? Because they want to see, where has this person gone? Are they good? Are they bad? Have they progressed? Have they not? So the launch is very important, and then we have development. So now we're able to, if you hit a certain amount of downloads or a certain amount of views or whatever the sponsor values, we have somebody who pitches people to sponsors, and then they could start making money from their podcast. So that's kind of the 3-step process and this is, took a couple years to make the system. But
Burr, did you ever hear how Lil Dicky took off?
I think so, but maybe
where he was just practicing rapping for years. It started off as fun. He realized he was getting pretty good at it, and so for years he was just practicing, honing his skill. And one day he just took all his bar mitzvah money, and put it towards one video, and that video just boom exploded. It took him viral, and that was
in college. Yeah.
I love that idea.
Dude, I love his story, though. And the thing is, too, it's a means to an end. Like, he's done, he's rapping, but he's not rapping anymore, dude. He wants to be a comedian. He wants to make shows. He wants to make movies. Like, that's what I've been telling artists, dude, because I'm an artist, too. I make music, too. Like, I know how it is. Like, stay in your fucking lane. Like, people are always like, oh, fucking, dude, they're not representing New Jersey. It's like, all right, you represent it. Like, they just do it for the clout, bro. Their fucking music sucks. No, it's not. They have 1 million plays. Somebody likes it. You don't. You don't. It might suck on paper, but it's, that's why I love Lil Dicky's coming, because I'm like, bro, Lil Dicky, do whatever the fuck you want, dude. I want you to be a rapper, because I'm a fan. I don't ever want you to fuck. I want you to make your show because your show's hilarious, but, like, I want you to continue to release rap music because I love it. And, but he doesn't have to. Like, I'm not gonna. I love that he's like, nah, I don't want to do this other shit, and, like, that's why I did this, so I could do this other shit. Like, I fucking love that transparency.
Yeah, that's the artist spirit, right? Like, I know when it's time for me to let this go, and I think we've all seen the artist or the famous person who did not let go when it was time to let go.
Eminem. No. Dude, stop making music, bro. They're done. J. Cole fucking retired, and he went through. It's like
he retired.
Yeah, he said he retired. Yeah,
cool. His last album was pretty fucking. It was full of bops. The J. Cole one?
Oh, I love Cole. So
Yeah, that seems an appropriate one to let it
I'm a
be.
stan a little bit, but no, dude. I just M's a bad example almost.
No,
but
don't get me wrong. I feel like the passion
there's
is
what I'm
gone.
saying is there's more. There's better examples for sure. But
Like Madonna was not to. I feel too much judgy like an old woman in the village. She's like, "Ooh, did you hear about what they were doing?" But
hear about Eminem?
yeah, no, but I know what you mean when you talk about Eminem because I can hear the music and like, man, there was a fire in it before. That
The
doesn't
last thing where there was any hope was that when he was on that Big Sean song. I don't even know the name of the song. It was one of Big Sean's album, one of the 2016-ish, right? And well, think about M like 5 years ago, or like Berserk. When did that come out? That was a little bit later. That was 13.
You're way more versed in.
And I'm not that versed in M. But yeah, dude, he was like, there one round was like manhole cover, and I was like, M's out, dude. Fucking manhole cover, I'm out, dude. Sandra something, I don't remember her name, but yeah, no, it wasn't Bullock. It was somebody else.
Maybe he's just making money from it now. He's like, I'm just making good.
The amount of money, dude, and I'm here talking shit on fucking Eminem, dude. Who the fuck am I, bro? I'm some random guy. Like, I'm literally, like, I'm like, M should quit.
Dude, but you know what? Okay, this tattoo I have is from a comic called One Piece. You ever hear? It's like the longest running, or I don't know if it's longest. It's a fucking huge anime, right? Okay, huge, and I loved it to death for the longest time. But recently, I can't watch it or read the new episodes. I'm like, man, you've dragged it on too long.
See, I did a tattoo of something that will never exist again, so that's why.
The Sublime?
Sublime, I locked it in.
I still love it because
they can't make a new song, so I'm good.
Okay, I don't want to. The tattoos of the old comics, so I can look at it and be like, yeah,
the old version.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah.
But it's okay. Who's someone who's in and out of the game at an appropriate time? Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's one of my favorite examples of a show that stopped and finished, and it was gold the whole fucking way throughout. There was no point in that show where I was like,
Oh, you're saying what went start to finish and ended when it ended and it was done. And
yeah, it was gold. Yeah, throughout.
I think Breaking Bad, honestly.
I didn't see the whole show. Oh, it got ruined for me when I was like 2 seasons in. The last episode I happened to walk in on, so it just killed me. I'm like, I'm not gonna.
That's a classic in my eyes, though. I would watch that regardless of.
It's fucking fantastic.
No, there's definitely better examples. I'm the podcast guy, dude. I don't know shit about TV shows.
You're good.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like that doesn't seem to be applying to Joe Rogan, for example. Like for Joe Rogan, if I watch his old podcast, it seems like he's only gotten better. Like now it's
this time. I'm getting a reflection.
Oh, okay.
So I'm getting a little slight sun, so I'm
it's because he wants to look cool. We all know what's going on.
I'm bopping in. This is the only thing that Stockton University gave me.
Those
They
are
gave me a coffee cup. They gave me a coffee cup. They gave me a reusable bag, which I use because fucking New Jersey we can use straws but not bags. Okay. And we can kill turtles, but we can't kill birds. I don't know. This is the only thing they gave me is a reusable bag, this, and a coffee cup, and I gave y'all fucking $50,000, dude. So pissed.
And they gave you a degree.
I paid for that. I'm talking the free shit. Give me better free shit.
You paid for that too.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Actually, you're right.
Well, how are the sunglasses?
They're actually a perfectly good pair of like I don't care sunglasses.
May I try them on?
Yeah, they're not knock your socks off here, but they're
all right.
No,
feel sturdy.
They're a perfectly good pair of like throw them in your bag, and if they break, they break. Like I've popped out the lenses 3 times. Like these are my just leave them in my car, and I got into sunglasses indirectly. I only have 2 nice pairs. One of them's really nice.
Dude, when they get nice, they get nice.
Yeah, and they don't look nice. They're just worth a lot of money.
Are they functional? Like they stay on your head?
Oh yeah, you can use them. They're old man type vibe. Big lens.
Like the aviators?
Maui Gyms. You know Maui Gyms?
I have no idea.
Yeah, check out Maui Gyms. Definitely search that up.
Like Maui the island? Like Hawaii?
What is it? MAUI or something
like that.
Yeah. Yep, Maui Gyms, dude. Cool. Check them out.
I need to get more into sunglasses. I keep fucking losing or breaking them. See, that's why only joy I have is these things.
I leave them at home, dude. My nice pair. That's why I just bring bullshit pairs out. But so you were saying that Joe is better now or something like that?
Oh yeah, like he He's like 1,000+ episodes in, and he
1,800,
doesn't see.
dude.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
And he hasn't lost his golden touch.
I've heard a couple people say, I'm not saying I'm subscribing to this, but I've heard a couple people say that he's gotten a little bit lazier, or that he's kind of like, since the Spotify deal, he's just like not cared as much. I think that he's also a fucking massive multi-millionaire. It's like, if his life or his podcast changed like a little bit, that would make perfect sense after you get
he's probably changed.
After you get $100 million, it's like it doesn't change like you fundamentally, but it does give you a different lifestyle if you want it, right? And I mean, dude, there's no doubt that Joe Rogan's coasting till the end of JRE. Like, I don't know, we don't know when the end of JRE is, but it's obvious to me. I don't think anything's changed drastically, but I think he's on the coast out, not the coast in.
Really?
Yeah.
It has.
I hope not. I hope I'm wrong, dude.
It
but
feels like it'll be
there
around
is
forever.
a tenacity that might be on episode 406 that isn't on episode 1806. But
we say tenacity because you know what? Now that you're mentioning that, I've only, out of curiosity, I've watched his really early episodes, like 1 and 2 and 10.
Rick Ross and shit like that. And that's even later. That's like in the 200s.
No, like I mean, like literally, like who's the first?
It's him and Red Band.
Red Band, yeah. Those, and then I've compared it to the ones now. I never watched it at like the 400, 800 point.
Oh, those are, dude. There's so much gold in there. The Tim Ferriss original Tim Ferriss episode is amazing.
I was a fan of Tim Ferriss. I am a fan of Tim Ferriss as well.
I love him, dude.
Yeah,
I love his shit. I love his podcast.
Dude, Tools for Titans, bomb fucking book.
Yeah, Tribe and Mentors. I love too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I've loaned out all those books. No, Tribe and Mentors I still have, but I'm like, all the other ones are always loaned out. Like,
those are fucking great to just skim through, pick a page at random, open it, and
dude.
you'll see some good
30
stuff.
minutes, I'm done watching a podcast. I'm like, about to go to bed. I'm like, let me pop into freaking shit. The guy from Everybody Hates Chris. Terry Crews. Let me pop onto Terry Crews's.
He has a podcast?
No, just his page on Tribe and Mentors.
Oh.
I'll pop open Tribe and Mentors. Oh, Terry Crews.
I didn't know he was in that book. I mean, I have it. I haven't read the whole thing.
Dude, have you seen? Watch him and Terry Crews did a podcast maybe about 4 months ago, 6 months ago. Fantastic, man.
Cool.
Yeah, Terry's great. Dude.
I
love
love.
him.
From what I've seen, I love his.
But he's like, a guy touched my dick. Like, so there's that. But he does talk about that. I'm just really.
I'm sorry. What happened?
No, like how a guy like sexually assaulted him. I don't know if you're familiar with this. I think it was like some kind of TV executive or something like grabbed his balls and dick or something. I'm like, dude, you.
Oh, he has a glorious pair.
Yeah,
That
I'm
doesn't
like,
make it right.
My guy has a fucking hog on him. But like, dude, I don't know. So he was saying that it really like affected him more. You know, the fact that the standards are different between. I don't really know. I can't speak for him.
That's
anyway,
got to be
that
so
happened. You
weird
can
though,
Google
bro.
it.
Like, imagine you're a grown, super fucking ripped, strong ass man, and then you go
And you're Terry Crews.
Yeah, you're Terry fucking Crews,
At a party with famous people.
and then okay, so it was at a party that this
So
happened?
you're at a party
Tell me
with
the
famous
gossip.
people.
I'm gonna be
You're a
gossipy.
TV producer. It's Terry Crews. We're out here, man. We're feeling it a little bit. We have a couple cocktails. They're pouring them a little heavy because I tipped her a 50. Dude, we're balling, baby.
and then he just walks by
And dude, you turn around and you glance, and for a split second, you see a man take a low, very low under swipe move with his hand and grab Terry Crews in his in all its glory, the entire thing. Which I don't know if you could grab with a hand. My guy might have a big hand, and that's what you witnessed, dude. Imagine if you were fly on the wall there. Like, that's fucking
I'm
crazy.
so curious of the was there like sexual
Because there's
jokes
articles.
on
We could look
build-up?
it up and like figure it out.
I don't want to waste my brain power with the deep dive.
No, but anyway, go in the deep dive. Yeah, we should move from there, but go in the deep dive for sure.
But just damn, dude, that's gotta fuck up your work environment.
Yeah,
Like, imagine
yeah.
going to work the next day after your mail boss just grabbed your junk and just like,
Oh, and you can crush him with your just one hand.
mm-hmm.
Like, why? Oh, so you know what? I will shine the light on the positive of that is the fact that Terry Crews and all of his, and he's had anger issues before, and he's fought people, and he's like, his life story's real. I don't know if you're familiar. He was abused as a child. Like, his life story's ridiculous. Like, it's crazy, and he didn't have a normal upbringing, but his ability to not react I think, is what I really respect, you know? And, like, I can make fun of it and stuff and be like, a guy grabbed your dick, like, wow. Like, but at the same time, you know.
There's definitely double standard there.
Yeah. And it probably feels weird, dude. It's like, oh, shit, I work for this guy. It's like, I can't crush him.
Mm-hmm. And
what am I going to do, sue him? Like,
and there is a double standard, because
anything you do looks bad, you know?
Because the fact that we're just laughing about now.
Yes, yeah.
Like, if someone just grabbed Angelina Jolie's, I don't know what would be a politically appropriate puss, yes. Like in the middle of just immediately be like, oh, dude, fucking, if she slapped him afterwards, that would be like an appropriate.
Yeah.
No one would, she wouldn't literally kill him with that. And would be like, yeah, that's, fucked up. Don't do that.
That's actually a good point about Trump, though, how he was literally invincible. Like, he could literally just say, grab him by the pussy and, like, have it come out.
He's a weird phenomenon, man. I'm really curious
They're very different from him. And
like
Terry
Obama.
Crews, dude.
Or yeah.
Very different situations, both grabbing genitals, completely different outcomes.
Yeah.
One of them made him president, the other one he couldn't even sue him or crush him.
I hope that didn't make him president.
Well,
there were all the fence sitters and like, oh, he grabs him right by the pussy.
Yeah.
That's my kind of guy.
Dude, but who's fucking, my question is, who's just grabbing him? I don't see a benefit. Does that arouse people? Do people like that?
It might be a power play Bill Cosby thing. I heard Bill Cosby, he had to do the weirdest sorts of like power moves. Like, okay, I've heard he's had his security guards tuck him into bed. Like, just to say, like, I can tell this guy.
Come here, Jason, just tuck me in the bed. Come here, Jason, just tuck Bill in the bed. Dude, that's crazy, man. Yeah, well, he's on some other shit, man.
Yeah, like spin around 5 times, squat up and down. You do what I say.
Do you listen to Come Town?
No.
Good podcast. Look up Come Town, Bill Cosby.
I feel like I'll be on a watch list if I look that up.
No, dude, this is pretty good. So they are a comedy podcast, but like by actual comedians, and not you fucking people on the internet thinking you're actually funny, because you're not funny.
Sometimes, no.
I think I am, but I know that I'm not. It's like until you're there. But
you have your moments.
I had to make that preface. But anyway, Come Down. They'll fantastic podcast, but they'll take a movie and they'll like run through like overview the movie, like the Titanic. They do the Titanic, and they're like pointing out all the shit that makes no sense. And then the clip, though, that they play, like the video version of it, is the actual movie and the scenes they're describing. It's fucking perfect, dude. It's so good.
Did you ever see CinemaSins on YouTube?
No.
It sounds, same thing.
Probably similar concept. Yeah, yeah.
Overview of a movie and just in any... Anyway, I'll just be restating what you said. That's a fun idea, especially for comedians.
You know, I like the JRE clips, too, like the clips. Or JRE tune, yeah. The cartoon version.
Oh.
There's a couple moments... I had a moment the other day. I gotta find it again. There's moments I want to cartoonize in my podcast. I feel like that would be a lot of fun but you got to get somebody describing something pretty good.
Get a good animator.
Terry Crews might be good. Maybe we can do that. The Terry Crews. The hand and then the hand.
Oh no. No, I feel mixed about that.
There's so much good content out there, though. It's amazing. Like, YouTube just feeds me. I mean, sometimes I'm in a lull where I'm like, really, YouTube? Give me something good, you know? But that's how you know you're, like, have to go to bed.
Yeah. Because it seems to just show you what you watch a lot of, right? Or things that are similar to it. So when you're half asleep, like, going down the rabbit hole, and then it's just going to show you what would even be ridiculous. Like, too many comedy skits.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then it'll throw you a curveball. It'll give you something random where you're like, there'll just be one in there. And you're like, what? What is this? Oh, you know what we did the other day? We did downhill running races where people just run down a straight 90-degree angle hill.
Just a lot of videos of people tripping and falling.
Yeah, dude, they're just getting messed up, bro. Messed up. So then YouTube started giving me that, you know?
Yeah. Dude, if you want to watch a wonderful stand-up routine, really just look up stand-ups bashing hecklers. That is one of the most golden pieces of YouTube that apparently isn't as popular as I thought it was. But just really any famous stand-up comedian, they'll always have a story of a heckler coming and talking to them, and you'll just get to watch them decimate. Because what's one of the most fun things to watch in person? Someone shit-talking.
I have 4 for you.
Yeah?
Bill Burr. Chris D'Elia.
Yes.
Andrew Schultz. And Stavros Aikilios. I didn't say that right.
Last one I don't know.
Greek guy. He's the guy. He's on that Come Town podcast.
Okay.
All 4 of those. Dude, look up the best one ever, I think, in history of time was the Bill Burr Philly one.
Oh my God, that was brutal. That was
my
fucking
God.
brutal.
Your fucking hero is a fucking fictional character.
Yeah. That was just Bill Burr wrath unleashed.
Dude.
That was almost painful to watch, but
he
I
said
watched
he
the whole
never
thing.
watched the video until he was on Tim Ferriss. You know how Tim Ferriss does the Fearless his series. He had him on there. He's like, I've never watched this video. I can't do a Bill Burr impression, but he's like, yeah, I've never watched it, so he had to watch it on that.
That's got I feel like that would hurt a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he describes it, you know, because Tim, obviously, that's why I thought going in, I'm thinking Tim and Bill Burr. Tim's too timmed out. Tim's too like
Robotic,
mechanized. He's not. It's not like he talks like that. It just seems like his fucking brains run like off like a computer or something. Mm-hmm. And then you have Bill Burr, who's like, "What are these chairs?" You know, or what? You know, just going off on some shit. But it ended up being really good. Yeah, Tim just like tried to do stuff, and Bill just took it. You know,
dude, I gotta improve my ability to just shit talk, to just shoot the breeze. Because whenever I hear great conversations in person or with a comedian, that's what they seem to be able to have. You could talk about anything. It's going to be lighthearted. It's going to be fun. Like, I was literally working in Chipotle, doing whatever, and the person next to me just turns to me like, what kind of Chinese food do you like? And the fucking enthusiasm they asked us with, the emotional like intensity they responded to every next comment was like, wow, here I am trying to think about these deep, elaborate questions for a good conversation, but like, this person's just talking about fucking Chinese food, and it's a wonderful, fun conversation.
Yeah.
Like, I need that. I need some more of that.
your question might not land. That's the thing, is you're guessing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, you don't know me that well. You could have asked me a question about some really specific thing. Or Trump. It's like, I don't really have much on Trump. Like, if you give me something I got something for, then I got it. I'll go off, you know? Like the abortion thing went way farther into that. But it's like, you don't know with people. You don't know what's going to set them off. And that's the beauty of podcasting. But that's the thing about long-form podcasting, is that you could kind of get me going from the start. But a lot of people don't get going until you hit a vein. And then it bursts open and they go. Yeah. And then you can ride that out to the end. But it's like, that's why long-form podcasting, it takes a very specific type of listener to be able, and for anybody listening to this at this point, to be able to say, I'm going to consume this in its full form. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if they start getting the energy flowing at minute 35 or minute 46, but I'm going to wade in there, and I'm going to sit, and I'm going to wait, and I'm going to go through it, you know? But yeah, man, I love that. I love that ability. I envy and respect comedians because they're so good at it, and I love it, man. I love talking shit, though. I love just sitting on podcasts. I don't get to do this a lot, so this is a lot of fun because I'm always in your position, you know. But
where you feel more like turned on.
Yeah, rather than like the ball is always on your court, or you get a guest where you go, oh man, I just have to run this. Like, like you don't want to scrap it because you want, you know, they drove or they, you know, whatever. You know, we put the time into this, but that's the thing of it too. This is swing and miss, swing and hit some, swing and miss some. Reps, baby. But that's every conversation. You might just have super awkward conversation with somebody, or you might be talking about Chinese food, and it might be
somehow
the best conversation you had.
Yeah, dude, the fucking shit talking I could have with my friends, like the best friends, is so enjoyable, and it's the most ridiculous thing, and I don't know why I'm not as good as at integrating that into the podcast. Maybe I'm just so nervous about saying something inappropriate, because we can say some of the most inappropriate shit imaginable, but you know what? There's something beautiful to the people who just stop giving a fuck and go balls to the wall and say honestly how they feel and think in a podcast.
I've done that, though. Like, I've already said shit. Like, I've said everything that would not get me a job. Like, so I have nothing to lose. I'm still building this shit. Like, that's how I feel. I don't care. The thing that I do try to do is to be mindful of people who are listening and watching it, and to make sure that they can comprehend it and that it's not terrible to listen to in terms of listenability. But in terms of my own opinions on things, like, I have not filtered anything in the past 2 years. In the beginning I did, because I didn't even know how to express myself. But now that I know how to express myself, I can
You seem quite fluid with it.
lean in. Yeah, and I get in a flow and do it and I can go. But I've been doing it for a long time. I'm in sales, so I get to have little mini podcasts with people all day. Little 30-minute conversations, and then I might sell them something, or I might not. But yeah, and I've done it with my business too, dude. I feel like 100% my business should be unapologetically me and my coworkers and our personalities personified as a business, and not its own voice. Like, this is our voices. We're creating everything. If you don't agree that I microdose, like I said, then you can just hire somebody else. There's so many people that do my job. I'd rather work for somebody who does that too.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll find them because I went out and said it. Like, people are trying to attract people that won't be attracted to them as it is, right? They're trying to filter themselves for people who don't care about them at all and honestly don't give a fuck. So why filter yourself? Might as well just say what you're going to say and just be all the way out there, because you want the 1% of people that are cool with that, because that's really you, right?
That is a beautiful thing, to sync up with the people who fuck with you being the best version of yourself,
or not, or just being the you. Like, even just saying an opinion and that person listening going, I don't agree with that, and then they keep listening. That's the people that you want, you know, that don't judge you based on your opinions of abortion or your opinions of one thing.
And even if they do, being willing to understand that that's not all of you. That's just one topic, one opinion, and I can still love you. There's still a million amazing things about you that I can get to know and vibe with.
That's the culture, dude. But the culture is cancel them because of one thing they said. The culture wouldn't want what people want to do to other people. They would think is an abomination if somebody did it to them, right? It's true, because they take one thing out of context and they say that's that person. Okay, let's take your tweet from 6 years ago, right? Or whatever it might be. Let's take one bad relationship you had and let's put that on a pedestal and judge you your whole life based on
it.
It
makes me wonder what percentage of those people, if any percentage, are simply unaware of the worst version of themselves. Like, the worst part of themselves that they've been, the worst things they've done. Like, have you really looked into the worst things you've done? Have you really dug deeply, or to the worst things you could do, the worst fantasies you've had, shit like that? Like, have you really explored your shadow, the dark side of yourself? You might be more willing to forgive someone else if you have. Now I'm fucking curious. Okay. What's one of your biggest regrets or mistakes?
Dude, this is good. Holy shit. Let me think, man. I have to think about this one. Regrets or mistakes. It's not like I haven't made any mistakes. It's just like I want to think of a good one. Yeah. Man. Yeah. Not honestly with music, like not leaning into my music as much as I would give people different advice than what I've done. You know, I'm 23. Like, I'm still pretty young. My friend was explaining to me that he's coming on 27 and he feels a lot of pressure. I'm pretty confident at 27 I'm not going to feel any more pressure than I do at 23. But I also look back at when I was 16 and look at what I did. And now I'm glad, like I said, like when you go out and party or whatever, you don't really regret it. Back then, when you look back and you're like, no, it was a lot of fun. Like, I'm better. I'm more refined now. But I wish that I did more with my craft. I really did. And people who know me will be like, dude, you're crazy. Like, you work all the time or whatever. But I really do. And this sounds like a stupid thing, honestly. Like, I could definitely come up with like a major mistake or something like that. But I really do wish that I took advantage of the time, because not the time hour by hour or days or weeks or months, the timeline, the time frame, the position in life, because you're only in a high school position in high school. You're only in a college position in college. I will say college I was pretty dialed in, at least the last half of it. I did a lot compared to maybe the average person, but there was just times in my life, man, when I wish that I just leaned into me a little more, man, and just lean into the craft.
Why do you think you didn't?
I don't think that I didn't know that I should have more.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah. Wait, what did Rob tell me? Oh, you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it.
Yeah, ain't that a bitch?
Yeah, ain't that a bitch? And that's where I'm at now, right? It's like I didn't know that I should have made more songs or I could have spent a little more time. Like I just didn't think about it. And it's not like I didn't spend a lot of time. I just wish honestly this whole thing, like the work was never a problem. I wish I had a little bit more vision back then. Like I have a lot bigger vision for stuff now. Like I know what's achievable now, you know? Like I know I can be a Billboard artist if I want to, or, you know, it's achievable. Like there is kind of a path, like I could build it out, I could do it. Like it's not my goal, but I didn't have any visions back then. And once I really got dialed into self-development, personal wellness, goal setting, learning about high performers and successful people, then I started to develop a vision, you know? But yeah, I think that was the reason though, because I was like, I'm just doing this thing and it's fun, which it was, and it served its job. But I wish if somebody would have came to me and be like, and even asked me the question, do you think this can be bigger than this? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they would have said, what are your goals for this? And I would have said, well, I'm just doing it because I like to do it. I never thought about it. And then they would say, well, what if what you were doing on your day-to-day could actually lead to something much larger? Have you thought about that? And then, who knows, that might have made a shift. I mean, I'm happy where I'm at, but, you know, that's probably why.
While you're saying that, you're reminding me of, I wouldn't exactly call it sort of regret. Doesn't feel like the exact right word, but it's in the ballpark. That after I fucked my leg up, I was like, ooh, probably should have paid more attention to doing better in school. Because at that point, I was 16 at the time, and I wasn't giving much of a shit at school. After I decided I wanted to go into the military, because I understood what I needed to be able to get to that position. I'm like, I don't need fucking great grades right now.
No.
I needed high enough scores in the ASVAB. I had that. Physical fitness, I'll get that. So I'm fuck all this. I just need to pass by so my parents don't bother the shit out of me. Yep. And that was it. But afterwards, I was like, fuck, what if there's some college that I could have wanted to go to now? And I'm thinking about, like, how the fuck could I tell that to a high schooler? Like, hey, man, is it reasonable to even suggest that they should prepare for catastrophe? A catastrophe that could game change your biggest plans in life? Like, okay, I'll ask you this as sort of maybe it's a loaded question, but do you have any plan Bs for if you're podcasting or your music, if something happens where it just knocks the legs out from under that and you just can't do that anymore?
The real answer is yes, but my answer is no.
Elaborate.
I want to make a decision to say no because that's what I want to do. But the real answer is I have a lot of skills. And I have monetizable skills beyond the things I'm doing right now. So yes, the real answer is yes.
Like technically you could, yeah.
Dude, if I didn't have a girlfriend, I could live in my car. Like I could, you know, probably get by with it. I've never done it, but I just, like I'd be okay. Like if I really wanted to make money. Now, if I wanted to make money doing things I love, then there's no plan B here. You know? But I'm doing everything I love right now, you know? Just not in the exact way I want it to be. But like, dude, my fucking regret is not working hard enough on my craft. It's like, I don't really have a lot of regrets, dude. Like I've done everything I wanted to do when I wanted to do it for the most part. You know? Waited, obviously I had patience for a lot of things too, but yeah, no, I don't think. Plan B, what the fuck is a plan B? Like, you gotta at least just all options. Just you have to explore everything.
Because as you're saying that, I don't have that now. I also don't have that now. I don't have a solidly worked out plan B if this fails. But like you say, I do have translatable skills that can be translated onto other careers if necessary. Like if I really have to, I'll be good. But I like that idea of burn your boat.
Like burn your own boat.
Yeah, like you fucking went to enemy territory and you burn your own boat. So it's like I either conquer this land and win this war because I can't fucking go home now.
Well, if you go back to the thing, right, then people will say, oh, that's what I expected you to do, right? And then, or even yourself, you'd be like, oh, you know, that's not what I expected to do, but that's what I'm doing. You know, like it makes sense if you go to your plan B. Like that's what people expect you to do. They don't expect your plan A to work out. It's like my plan A is not even dialed in. It's like I couldn't even go to a plan B. Like I have so much invested in Plan A. You know.
A ball to the wall method.
Yeah, balls to the wall, baby. Let's go.
Fuck yeah. I need to get some cushions for these seats.
I think it's a good challenge to keep your back straight. Positives.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I'm saying? So after 4 years, we got matching chairs on the podcast. You'll see. You'll come do the show. But
Fuck yeah.
yeah, we finally got matching chairs.
Wait, what chairs you get?
I don't know the brand. I could get them, but they look like they're like orange chair. Like they look like podcasting type of.
Fuck yeah.
So I got them on Marketplace for $150 for like the set, and they were 100. They were like 100 and 200 or 200 each. So I just saw them on Marketplace. Fucking
Beautiful.
Grab 'em.
One of life's greatest joys, finding a good deal.
on chairs. Yep.
Yes, on chairs specifically.
Yeah. Love Marketplace, dude. I live on there, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just sold my truck. I just bought another car. I'm gonna flip that. Probably sell that on there. I've sold so many cars, motorcycles. Like
Fuck yeah. Wait, is Marketplace like a website or something?
Facebook Marketplace.
Oh shit, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've heard people doing some pretty crazy sales on that.
IRS. I haven't sold anything on there.
Oh my god. I've heard of people having groups of guys who own guns, and they would just sell guns to one another through like the Facebook group if they had it. So like, we don't need to go to a fucking gun store or anything like that.
Well, actually, in Texas, that's completely legal. Person-to-person gun sales. Yeah.
Does the
no
person
background
need
check.
to have a...
That's why. So that's people don't understand this. Universal background checks. That's what that means. Universal background check means private sale would also get a background check. That doesn't happen right now in certain states.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That seems like... I love Texas. I love the idea of so many people being armed.
Mm-hmm.
And if I dug into that, I haven't tried to steel man the opposite to that belief. I just kind of like the idea of having a gun on me. But maybe being able to just give a gun to anyone you like or sell a gun to anyone you like, maybe that's not optimal.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's there's definitely pros and cons here. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a beautiful setting for a podcast. Yes. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. I was struggling whether to give the camera that view or give us that view. But I like being able to turn and soak it in for a second.
Yeah. No, I used to work here. I didn't even explain that. Yeah. How that ended up happening. I could give the rundown, but
Did you ride a horse while you were here?
I didn't, but I worked around them.
Cool. I didn't even know there were horses here.
No, they're not here now, but they bring them.
Dude, I never rode one.
That is the biggest horse polo field on the East Coast.
Oh.
Yep.
Have you ever played?
Never played, worked it, but so I was the guy who would like set up tents, and then when the ball went out of bounds, I wave a flag.
Cool.
Because it was a friend of mine, her grandfather like runs it. Hisham, shout out to Rebecca and Hisham. What's up, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they ran. So, dude, I was here every Saturday, stoned and hungover in high school.
Catching balls and setting up tents.
Yeah, making like made $70 from 11 to like, what was it, like 11 to 5 or something like that? So it wasn't bad.
Ah, the old jobs.
Old jobs, baby. Yep. What got you into this traveling to people thing? Because I would never do this. This is so stupid, in my opinion. Not for the product. I'm saying for your logistics.
Especially with gas prices nowadays. But when it started, there was a deep fear I had of the state of America and a deep uncertainty in whether or not I could trust the sources of information that were telling me about the state of America. Whether that be news sources in any major channel or anything from like a Joe Rogan experience. I wondered, like, are these people just in bubbles of their own? How can I tell what's actually going on? So I figured I wanted to get a boots on the ground experience of America, try to talk to people from all different walks of life and see for myself. And so that just kind of formed into me traveling around, living out of the van, like getting back on the road again soon. I've been enjoying the homeland.
Where do you live, actually? Do you have a central location that you actually live, or do you travel in this van?
The technical Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, around Sicklerville.
So, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so how far will you go to do a podcast, to go to somebody?
The farthest I've went to do a pre-planned podcast has been whatever the distance between New Orleans and Jacksonville is. So like 8 hours of driving. Dude, funny story. Okay, so I'm in Florida and I'm just hanging out around Jacksonville and I see that there's a Mardi Gras parade going on in Jacksonville. And I'm like, oh shit. I didn't know Mardi Gras was going on nowadays. 1, 2, I didn't know it was such a big thing that people celebrated it outside of New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, this sounds really fucking cool. I can drive to New Orleans. I have that level of freedom now. So I fucking pack up, drive to New Orleans for Mardi Gras for a few days. But I already had a podcast scheduled back in Jacksonville for like 4 days from then. So it was very much just like a laser beam on the road, just spend all day driving, spend 2 days in Mardi Gras, getting my party on, and come back. Dude, that was fucking wild and calm at the same time. I was getting my hair done right out on the outskirts of New Orleans, and I'm asking the barber, like, what should I go see while I'm there? And he said, man, if you like partying, go to I think it was the French Quarter. He said,
That's where it goes down.
yes, but he said, don't go to the French Quarter. He said, you will see a shooting there if you stay the entire night. Like, if you stay till the morning, like, you're going to see that. Don't go, especially if you're just by yourself. So naturally, I went to the French. It was fucking words. I can't do it justice. It was just the street absolutely littered with trash. You're slipping on fucking beads. People that are wasted out of their mind. You see a collection of people that look like they just came from the ghetto, and like anytime you reach into your hand to grab a phone, they're like twitching the look to make sure you're not pulling a gun. A collection of that, and like preppy kids who are wasted from like a nearby college on vacation. And in the middle of all that, I'll never forget, there was a fucking guy playing chess. There was a table set up on, I think, Bourbon Street. While people are fucking wasted, there's like a college kid being literally carried by like 6 other dudes. He's just like thrashing, screaming, and drunken rambles, and they're like, bro, fucking gotta go, bro. And in the middle of all that, there's just a dude set up playing chess, and he's like, all right, man, you can pay to play if you want. $20 for a game. And there's one just Asian chick, super focused, just staring at the board for like 10 minutes before she makes a move. And I'm like, all right, we're on. Blitz chess. Let's go. Let's play. Got my ass whooped, but it was fun.
Wow, what an experience, though.
It was interesting.
Whoa, man, that's awesome. So you've been going around, man.
Yes.
So you're doing Jersey now? Like, specifically, or?
Jersey I came back to for some family events. Then some unexpected, more serious stuff happened, so I ended up staying a little longer. And then, to be honest, after that, I'm like, man, I just love being around my community, my family, my best friends, and all that. And I'm like, I'm soaking it up while I'm here.
Good,
but
good.
The North is calling.
More north.
The North,
Northeast,
yes.
or?
Northeast for now. I want to take advantage of the summertime so I don't freeze my ass off in the car. Yeah. So I think I'll be going more like New York-ish, Maine.
How are you finding people then to interview in that case? Reaching out to people and...
Okay, for in Jacksonville, I interviewed a police chief who was running for sheriff. I went to a police department, and I just started asking one of the police officers about his job, this, that, and the other, just some questions off the top of my head. And he said, man, if you really want to talk to someone, he recommended me to this lady who he said, which really got me because I was so wrapped up in politics, maybe a little too much. He said, I'm a Republican, but this lady's a Democrat, and she's been a kick-ass police chief. She's running for sheriff of all of Jacksonville, and she was turning around some of the worst areas there, so go talk to her. So long story short, I just went to her department, talked to the, I guess, secretary.
Yeah.
One phone call later, bing, bang, boom. That other times I'm just going to a jiu-jitsu class, and at the end I'll tell everyone, hey, I'm here traveling around. If anyone wants to do a class, come talk to me. Maybe I go give a homeless guy like $20 and say, hey, you want to do a podcast real quick? So yeah, all over.
Have you talked to the homeless?
Yes.
So how did those go? Because I've wanted to do the Trenton guys.
I talked to one homeless. No, okay, 2. I talked to
Trenton guys like they're a group or something.
Sure, yeah.
We pulled together.
They all have the.
Oh, see, you committed the fraud too.
The
Not the fraud, the golden mistake. Of,
I set the alarm earlier for 7:45.
Oh, I thought it was a phone call. Okay,
Not
no.
a fuck.
I was like, no, I committed the sin here.
I should throw your phone. How dare you?
Should. I don't want it. Dude, my whole life's on that fucking thing. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a virtual business. Like, it's brutal.
Just always.
I use the computer. I download and re-download the apps all the time. I only download them to post, and then I
just get rid of them.
Yeah, I just delete them and download them again.
Fair enough. Dude, you ever spend days just without the phone?
It's fantastic. Not many without just. Yeah, I mean, when I'm with my girl, that's when that happens.
That's so nice. Just
She's not addicted to it like I am. I'm addicted to it by default.
Profession,
somewhat necessity, somewhat profession, yeah. But I actually made a podcast about that. The only solo episode of 2022 so far is called I'm Addicted to Social Media. And so it's just talking about screen time. It's talking about just the addiction itself, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, I got
And it's so fucking weird if you start to get a more like if the meditation where you just follow your breath, but you don't try to control it. You're just observing parts of yourself without reacting to them. And if you apply that to how you react to your phone, I've noticed like, oh shit, that's just my default. Like, oh, I'm bored. There's a Welcome to the Internet song by Burnham. And have you heard it?
I love Bo.
It's yeah. And there's a great quote which it fucking describes the internet and phones perfectly. Apathy's a tragedy and boredom is a crime. Anything and everything all of the time. Dun, 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 anything. But that's the fucking phone. Like, no, never be bored. Never not care about anything. Here you go. Just always the world of information at your fingertips. Just scroll. Data. Something to do. You want to listen to music. Now you want to go watch a funny video. Now you want to... And it's an overload.
I found myself consuming like all the time. Like, but not even Instagram and stuff like that. Like, just putting a Schultz YouTube video or a Schultz podcast on when I'm eating dinner, or like just I literally go from like calls to maybe some emails, then I'm like having lunch and I'm watching a podcast, then I'm going back and editing my podcast, and then it's like, dude, it's freaking crazy, man. I realize I'm consuming all the time, even if I'm not scrolling.
Info. It's kind of wild. When you talked earlier about the most important part of the conversation is just... It makes me wonder how many things in the silence am I missing? Like, is there any profound or really important thing I could learn in silence or low stimulation activities?
Well, think of silence like in this scenario and that's what I do every morning because like I'm of the Huberman approach where I want to see sunlight every morning.
As soon as you wake up and
clock. Yep. So I do my meditation, then I walk outside and I just sit on my porch and it's like this. This is what it looks like on my porch. Like there's the road, the breeze, there's the birds, the trees, there's the road, there's
smell,
the breeze,
dude.
there's the birds, there's the trees. We made a song on the podcast. So that was a little taste. If you want to check it out, Sully Bop.
Is that a real song?
No,
okay.
I just ripped that right now.
Fucking freestyle and spitting bars.
Let's go, man.
Yeah. Put a beat to it. Yeah.
So Tin Coop, did you put that music in on post, or how'd you do that?
I had a little speaker with me that I played, and then afterwards, I canceled out the audio from that speaker, and I overlaid. I don't know how to say it technically, but I overlaid the official audio from like a separate. And I just synced it up to the same.
Cool. Okay, yeah.
Do you like freestyling too?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, that's how I started. I mean, it's fun. It's just fun.
Agreed.
You know, but yeah, dude. You know the deal. It's just you fucking hop in with the boys, bro. Shit. That's how I started rapping, man. Is my boy Justin was just Dominican homie, bro. He was just out there freestyling.
Now I kind of want to grab the speaker and just. Did you have anything you want to say real quick? We were talking about the silence and the.
Oh, just the fact that this is what I do all the time. Like I try to just do, and usually the thing is I'll usually have an audiobook running, but I try to, or a podcast, but I do try to leave my phone at home or leave my phone in my room and just be outside listening. Or when I go for one of my walks a day will be phoneless, you know. Get that silence.
Dude, I don't know if you noticed because you live in this, but it smells different here, man. Compared to
this is what
suburbia.
I smell. When I lived somewhere, when I go other places, I notice, but I get used to it. Oh man, there's so much oxygen. It's crazy. It's just pure like maple, birch. Like it's just trees and grass.
I just want to walk barefoot through here.
Oh, it's a lot of fun, man.
Yep.
Oh, you might have to like
silence my alarm.
You might have to like turn it off completely. It's gonna keep.
I think I hit the official one.
Oh, okay.
So, but
Android. I don't live that life.
You an iPhone? Yeah, iPhone man.
Apple, everything. Just
come to the side.
Oh, I'll never go back, dude. I'll never go back. AirDrop.
Oh fuck yeah, that's
all you gotta say when Android people go, hey, I get it, man. I'm a content creator, dude. I just have to drop. I need that. Like it saves me so much time. Legitimately.
Instead of having the email like compact that, yeah.
Yeah, videos send normally, like everything. Talk shit all day.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you one more serious-ish question, and then I kind of want to grab the bowl and the freestyle, and then we might just cut it off at
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
And if you have any serious question, or just any question that you think is really like a good ass question, feel free to throw it up there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like the freeform nature.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I
Well, what about, unless you got something, I'll jump in. But what about, is this your first time like making content and like trying to like build something on the internet, like a brand?
Yes.
Does that seem weird to you at all, or like what's your experience been with that? Like, does it seem like you have to try to be something or try to make the content a certain way to like, do you find yourself thinking about what would somebody, why would somebody want to tune into this, or like what type of things do I have to make to find new people? Like, are you overwhelmed at all with like the content creation side of the podcast? Because this is the easy thing to me.
Yeah, the actual talking.
Yeah.
As far as overwhelmed, it's really just I post stories. And as lame as it might sound, that's probably been one of the most annoying parts because it just takes time. And there's time doing monotonous tasks. So that might be the most difficult part for me at the moment. Just the monotony of scrolling through the podcast, trying to cut out the little piece, waiting for it to load, yada, yada, yada. The consistency of it is something I'm getting used to. That's been more difficult because I've been quite inconsistent with grinds throughout my past. I'll add little mixes into my stories. Like maybe I'll be singing, like it'll be 4 seconds of me doing a dance, and then 30 seconds of a podcast clip, then 4 seconds of me doing something with the staff, and then 30 seconds of, and I've been incorporating that lately. So just every now and then I feel this pressure to just make content. And that clashes a lot with the desire I have to live that Wim Hof-esque lifestyle that I was describing earlier when he was around our age, where it's very much I get up and the day is free to fill with whatever I want. There's no pre-planned thing or scheduled thing I have to do. And I really love that way of living. I feel like there's a lot of things I can learn in living that style. So that clashes a lot with it, the podcast. But as far as the quality and what sort of content I make, I like to follow the Joe Rogan model of I just like to have conversation with people. That's how I started. I just want to have enjoyable conversations with people. And that was it. And that's the format I like to follow a lot with this.
I'm with you. I do the same thing, man. I think you're I think, maybe you're naturally inclined to it, but I know you're probably like building the skill set too, because it is that. But I think naturally, like, I just get the vibe that you're kind of just like a people person. You just connect with people,
It's actually, I'm a closeted introvert, as someone said.
That's what they all
And
say, yeah.
Yeah.
Not me, because I'm an extrovert, but yeah.
You know how you seem like you get charged up by conversation?
Oh, dude, people charge me up. Like, if I'm tired, put me in a room full of people.
I'm weird. I'm pretty on the middle of that scale, but I lean more towards introvert, so I like a lot of time to myself.
Well, what do you think though? Well, this is an introverted thing though, kind of, because you're
the one-on-one.
It's one-on-one, yeah.
That's where I thrive in conversation.
If you're comfortable with me, then you're good. You only have to be comfortable with one person, and then you're fine. So that's why introverts actually do pretty well with this. Usually, if they can get past the barrier of themselves being out there, they can just lock right in, because then it's like, oh, cool, it's only one person. I'm good with this.
And especially the freedom to really ask whatever the fuck I want to talk about. That I love, like the what's your biggest regret or a hot topic. I love being able to just, because I'm so curious about those sorts of things, just ask it without
I just want to ask the freaking anybody, dude. The guy at Wawa. It's like you want to just ask people these questions, but it's weird. Like one time, this guy was at a booth in college, and I don't know what the booth. It was for like books or something like that. And I'm like, I just asked him, like, what do you really want to do? And he's like, he like was kind of stunned that I asked him, and he's like, well. I like video games. Like, I'd like to do something with that. I'm like, you should do that, And then that was it. But it's like, wow, this is not a normal.
Dude, I should start fucking doing that more. And maybe I should do little clips on my phone. But I feel like they might be more reserved. So maybe ask a lot of people things like that, and then do a solo episode where I'm just talking about the different conversations. I like that as an idea.
Yeah, or just film them without them knowing it, and then just ask them after. Yeah, because then you could get the raw shit.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody blows up on you or something, you get that. Or if they just like shut down, you get that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so much you can do, man. Yeah, I've wanted to do the roaming interviews too. Studio's a little bit more, I guess, easier logistically.
Yeah.
I also feel sometimes where I'm like, well, I'm doing all this work, so you got to come to me. You know? But
Fair
like,
enough.
it's different now. Like we do clips, and like the clips are doing really pretty well. So it's like then people expect the clips, and so we are doing the work to make the clips.
And it's pretty beautiful to just have a stage that you can go to. There's something so cool about that.
Yeah, be your own stage, man. Make the stage. It's like the promoter of the event does pretty well, right? The artist does pretty well, right? The audience gets something that they're entertained by. But if you own that stage that the artist is standing on, you always get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's just the money side of it. Obviously, there's like, you get to have relationships with everybody stepping on your stage, you know?
Do you host people at your studio? Like other people will have their own podcast in your studio?
That's next level of it, yeah.
Mhm.
Working towards that, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, ideal is to Joe Rogan-esque is to be able to do interviews when I want, pay to fly people in if they can't afford it, like, and then rent out studio spaces for myself or for my clients, for musicians, for artists, and
Fuck yeah.
probably do some kind of like subscription model if the numbers line up. But that would be cool to be like, hey, you're a podcaster, $250 a month for 4 hours or whatever, just something that's really accessible. That's kind of where I'm going because that's kind of where the business is going itself. But when we do the in-person element, it's probably going to start with podcast setups, like in-person podcast setups where I fly somewhere and help them set up and train them and stuff. And then it will probably evolve into the more stationary location, physical studio. That's the goal, though, 100%. That's the vision.
Cool. I'd say one of the toughest things right now is maybe the advertising part. Like,
Kind of what I was getting at a little bit.
yeah, getting able to draw eyes to it. That's definitely the next phase I really need to get good at.
Just call me, dude. I know a little bit. Like, I don't know. I've never brought a podcast up to, millions of listeners or anything like that, but I know what I do and work for me, and I know what other people do, so you can amalgamate that a little bit. But, yeah, man, that's been the toughest for me, too. But I also didn't have a reason to grow it. I just liked where it was at. But now I'm like, wow, it's growing. It's growing a little bit, but it's also the content's evolving. The content's getting better. The guests are getting better. The conversations are getting better. I'm getting better. And I'm like, I want to make some money from this. You know?
Fuck yeah.
Like,
That's the dream, dude. Being able to live off of this and other sorts of investments, but this being the main thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. What's the name of your podcast?
Bopcast.
Bobcast?
Bop, B-O-P, yeah, Bopcast.
And where can it be found?
Everywhere. Google Bopcast. It'll come up. If you're in your audio player, it'll be the first one. You'll see my face on it.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's the podcast, Bopcast, sullybop.com, sullybop.com/BOPCAST, Bopcast, sullybop.com/Bopcast. That's the main site for that. And then, all the platforms. And we have video now, so we have YouTube going.
Fuck yeah.
Which is sweet.
Yeah, that's a
My
weird...
whole audio audience has shifted over to YouTube.
Yeah, I weirdly love watching people when I'm listening to a podcast. Like literally just looking at their facial expressions. Because as they say, most of the communication is done non-verbally in a conversation.
The audio is nice because you do get to I feel like you learn a little bit better that way because you're forced to just absorb what they're saying. Because you can get really caught up in the people. You could be watching this and
someone's staring at a bird in the background.
Yeah, or like the people walking by or a car or something, and that's gonna take them out of it. Audio, you're like pretty. It's
tuned in.
I'd say it's different. I just think it's different. Yeah, yeah, but I do both too. I watch it's probably 50-50 for me.
For practical reasons, I can't be watching them all the time.
Yeah,
but I do love. Okay, what is one of the most? So, excuse me for the difficulty of trying to word this. One of the most important pieces of art that you've ever seen. We'll stick with a song for now, and I want to lean towards maybe something a little darker. Yeah. Ooh, I saw a little light turn on.
Oh yeah. There's a couple. Dude, I think the first one. Well, first I'll say my dad introduced me to War Pigs. Great
Never
song.
heard of them. Oh wait, the song by Black Sabbath. Oh, beautiful fucking song.
Under my stars. Right, and it's like that one's not even as dark as it is just energetic and just I guess but it's not like a dark. It's not like Mad World, right? Mad World.
Oh yeah,
it's just the
and
darkest.
I find it kind of funny. Yeah,
and I found it kind of sad. Yeah. So, but I would say like Warp. It was just like got this like vicious shit.
You feel
It's
like
vicious.
a tingle. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
so,
can literally see Satan laughing and spreading his wings when
exactly.
they say it. Yeah.
So there's that, and then dude, I'm a massive Tool fan. So
yeah.
I just love. I mean, you name the pot, right? And it's like even that one is just about hypocrisy, basically, right? But like I like a lot of I mean, dude, even like Sublime. I mean, Bradley, who's the lead singer of Sublime, was rest in peace, but he talked a lot about his addiction, like in the later years when he was actually facing it, and you know, he died because of it, but you know, I like a lot of that stuff too. Like I listen to it and it's like I got to tie off the dinosaur tonight, you know? It's like I got to tie off so I can, you know. So for people just listening, I'm wrapping a fictional rope around my arm so I can tie off. So like that's what he would sing of like, "Gonna tie off the dinosaur tonight." And like, dude, it's like brutal because he's literally talking about having to shoot up, but then the song is like beautiful. So, you know, that, and then I would just say the other one is like System of a Down, which I think that people look at as dark, but it's actually really not dark. Like it just, or Hey Ya is not a happy song. Like there's so many songs that are upbeat.
That's the first one you named that I don't know.
It might be in C. My baby don't mess around. Outcast. But I love for sure. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah. Yep. So not a happy song. Just go read the lyrics. Like it's just there are a lot of songs that are like that that seem upbeat but are actually sad. But yeah, I mean, there's not. I'm not like that, dude. I don't really. Well, like I just like hard music. Like I don't look at it as like this is sad or dark. Like Avenged Sevenfold, I'm huge on. Like I said, Tool, I'm huge on. System of a Down, I love.
Ooh, what's one of the most important roles that those songs have played in your life?
Yeah, so System of a Down was a big transition of kind of at this time of a little bit pre-Sublime where it was like going into high school, you know, and I just wanted to listen to that. Like I don't know, like I was just expanding. I was like, whoa, there's like different shit, because it was only what my dad put me on and what my friends put me on, but my core friend group. So then this was the beginning of listening to new music and like finding people on my own, which was amazing to me. And then I got put on to Sublime and then they completely changed it. Like there is no other band that, for some people it might be the Grateful Dead or maybe the Beatles or whoever, but there's no other band that I like every single song. And I find what I love about every single song. And I have a favorite Sublime song, but that also was a great kind of reckoning in my life where I felt more independent because I'm like, I have something that only I love. And then my friend got a Tool tattoo, you know, and like I didn't even like Tool that much back then. But I kept telling him, I'm like, yo, V, I fucking love Sublime. I love it. Like Sublime's my favorite fucking band, you know, and he just ended up putting me onto them and he loves them too. But then my other friend really loves them. So then we started going to Sublime cover band shows together. And then I got it tattooed and it's like, because like it's actually leads, and I'm really focusing in on Sublime because they're like the number one for me.
I couldn't tell. No,
yeah, who fucking knows, dude? But who would have guessed? But it was a real shift for me of really not giving a fuck about things and just smoking weed and just like not caring. And then I've been able to transition out of that lifestyle to have a purpose, to have passions, to have things that I love and care about, to have this work ethic, and then also still embrace. And maybe the Wim Hof for you is the Sublime for me, where I literally just want to sit on a beach and just like maybe strum acoustic guitar and just smoke a joint, like enjoy life and just live it. So like I tatted it on me, dude. Like and the sun has a completely like its own meaning for me, but I really have like I think that part of me, I never want to lose that, you know? And now that I'm thinking about it, it really is similar to like, let life kind of do its thing. It's like, that's what they did. That's what Brad did. Like they worked really hard and made some fucking amazing music and developed a really unique sound, but he also lived the shit out of life and didn't live that many years, you know? So yeah, I think that's like fucking music, dude. I can go in all day, but yeah.
Living life to the fullest.
Trying.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dude. Yo, holy shit. First podcast. Crazy, dude. Crazy. Thank you for having me, man. Thank
you for coming, Sully.
Dude, anytime.
Fuck yeah.
Dude. Whew.